internet. Welcome to Aimless Babble Z, episode 425. I'm Chris Adams, the Tekken Master, joined by...
Really?
What?
Really?
How was that bad? That was loud because last time you guys were like, "Oh, don't fluctuate the volume, Tekken. Don't start high and then go low." So I kept it high the whole time.
Yeah, but
So,
now you sound like
yeah,
a psycho.
Whatever.
Okay, yeah, RPG Maniac 05.
And Traftical.
So yeah, we've got some. Well, yeah, we don't have much, but we've got some stuff. We've got.
We don't know what we have. We're going full aimless this episode. Full aimless. Good luck, listeners. Good luck.
Aimless.
We've achieved our final form, but we got so much from playing, and then we've got some E3 stuff, and that's it. Like, you know, E3, post E3, blah blah blah. We're still in the post E3 time, so it's like didn't really have much pre E3, so we just covered all the bases in one place and stuff and things.
We're just going to discuss random stuff, guys. This is your life now, aimless listeners. This is your life now. Enjoy.
All right, so what I've been playing, I think only two things really, because like one thing I've been playing a lot, but that's because I haven't really been playing anything else, and I'm kind of trying to like have a schedule for myself, but it starts next month, so I can't really start and jump the gun. So it's like, you know, just getting everything in order and being like, all right, Tekken, let's get it to where we know what we're doing, and stuff's going to happen, and it's going to be all doing things and stuff and things, and yeah. But been playing Destiny 2, of course, because it is a soulless grind, grind to nowhere, space treadmill that goes nowhere, that you're just on and you're just like, if I could just get the next, all right, I got that. Let me just keep going, and just like, So it's like, you know, if the analogy was like losing weight or getting in shape for like a normal treadmill, I guess the nowhere treadmill for Destiny is like, oh, you think you're making progress. You think, you know, you're doing stuff, it's happening, you're getting things, it's like, oh, I got this thing, oh, on the next thing, it's like, you know, you play through the story, you burn through the story, it's like, oh, that was the thing, and then it's like, oh, well, what about, what about this next thing, I just gotta keep going, or it's like, you know, just, yeah, blah, 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 blah. It just keeps going, it never stops, you're like, you know, and then, by the time you're like, maybe I should go off this treadmill, it's like, you know, 5 years later, you're like, what have I done with my life? Why do I waste all this time with this stupid game? All these, it's terrible, but I can't stop playing. And what even is my life? Darkest timeline? What happened? How did we get here? And you're just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I've been trying. I'm trying. Okay, I tried this whole time. I've been playing this game.
Like you haven't.
And I still didn't get the drops. And I still didn't get them. I'm not at cap. F this game, F RNGesus, F RNG, F Bungie, and you're just like, you know, you just lose it, and you're just like, rage, and then just like, you know, after a while.
But you just continue playing it anyway, though.
After a while, you're like, you know.
Can I just point that out? Just wanna point out that little fact.
It's funny because, like, from like a corporate overlord standpoint, they would hear this and be like, Bungie, you have created the perfect game. People hate it, but they still play
continue
it.
Playing it, yeah.
This man is going to buy Shadowkeep.
It's true. It's true. Every expansion, he's like, "Oh, I'm done with this game," but he's like,
That's
"No, I
the
bought the
funny
expansion
part.
for."
That's like, it's so terrible because, like, you know, this year I'm like, I'm done. I'm effing out. No more. Tekken's gone. Free, baby. Whoa. But then I like had Facebook memories, and it's like, oh man, I really want to stop playing, but I guess I'll keep going until PS5 comes out, or it's like I have the one the next day where it's like, you know, I said I'd be done and I quit, but like I'll keep going until the end of this console generation, but like, you know, I got to at least stick around for the raid team, and I'm like, man, I said that. Now I feel duty bound. I can't just go back on my word. Why? And just like, you know, I'm almost free on the one hand, because it's like, all right, we're at the end. Scarlet's next year, because 5's probably out next year, which means, you know, only one more year of this. But it's like, I'm kind of done now. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm kind of done now. Don't want it anymore. Why would I do this to myself? And then we get all these, like, you know, oh well, it's going free to play, so you know everything after Forsaken you have to buy, but you know besides that, people can just jump right in. So like maybe there'll be some like weird Bizarro land. Everybody gets it and starts playing, and they're like, oh, Tekka, this is what you've been playing this whole time. Oh, it's kind of fun. It's not that quite bad. Oh, it's all this free content too. Just you know can't really buy anything until or play anything after Forsaken, but like there's so much here because it was like all the years and years that you've been playing it and hating it, and then they made it not terrible. And it's kind of like you're a beta tester or something, and like you know they're just like, oh man, what's our users? You know what are they doing?
That's
How do
exactly
they
what
feel?
you
And then
are.
they're just like,
A
oh,
beta tester.
what should we do to balance the game and like make it not terrible and not trash and garbage like it is? Oh, let's do that. And it's like after all said and done, after all these years, they're like, profit though, guys. Maybe we make it free. And then got all this everywhere stuff, and people could just spend all the money and like even more money because it's free, and they'll just play and like just like Fortnite, it'll be a hit. We don't even need that battle royale, and just like have all these emotes and skins and guns and stuff. Maybe, and then maybe it saves
Maybe
us.
they will add a battle royale mode.
And it's not a failure anymore, like it has been all this time. But people just can't quit because we made it so evil and addictive, and the dopamine hits of those
That's
Ingram
the scene now.
drops. Watch out, Nicole.
It's execs talking to Bungie. Like, oh, good job! You made the perfect game. You made the perfect. Somehow you did it. It's amazing. And they're saying, no. It's not just us. We gotta thank Facebook for part of it too. They resurfaced the memories, and that's why you came back.
True. It's like oddly convenient that the memories just happen to pop up every time. You're just like, I'm done with this game, and then like, memory from this years ago. Man, I love Destiny 2
I know,
because
it was
this
so
and this
weird.
happened. It's
It
like,
got all
nice.
sentimental. I was like,
Straight up, man.
it's been 5 years. I've been playing since Alpha. I can't quit now, guys. And I was like, what now? Inside, I'm just like, why? Why
The
am
ultimate
I
social
still
experiment.
playing? I don't want to get going. I want off the ride. But then I'm like, well, I don't want to end on a down note. Because it's kind of down note right now. And they could turn the ship around. Eris Martin's coming back. She's always fun. Fingertips all out of my mind.
Yeah, cheers.
And then you're ready to go back to the Black Garden, man. I get sentimental about that D1 stuff, man. I want to go back and see how it's changed. I want to free the Black Garden. I don't want to be all enslaved by the Vex. I gotta set it free. I can't just leave it, man. Ooh.
Is it possible that the next expansion is basically adding all D1 stuff to Destiny 2?
No, because they're only adding the moon. So they're not adding the Cosmodrome. They're not adding
okay.
Venus back in. Mars is there, but it's a different Mars. So it's like not the old Mars of the exclusion zone.
Different moves.
What else is? I mean, the reef
got a
is
nuke
actually now explorable because it's the Tangled Shore, so that's kind of neat.
Mm.
But you know, it doesn't have all the stuff like the Dreadnought. I have a lot of fond memories. Dreadnought, my favorite raid is there. You know, King's Fall. And
Is that your favorite raid? Is it?
yeah, like each boss is a different type of thingy, and like it's so long, and like once you get to the end, it's like so epic to just like see orcs and he's all ginormous, and you have to shoot him in the chest, and it's all
Oh, yeah.
friendly.
Because I mean, I remember the nights when I raided during that, and there's a lot of rage going on during some of those times.
I mean, I may not have gotten the drops, and it may have been a bit rage-inducing, but it was, you know, a fun time. Mechanically,
Man.
in-game, it was a fun time.
Remember when Tropical didn't have any of the proper equipment for that, but he still kept raiding with
I
us?
still don't.
Good job. Tropical. They've made an entire sequel since then.
We still made it.
Good job. I guess we're just that good, huh?
Yep.
Guess we're just that good.
I was good enough not to drag the team down, and you guys were good enough to drag me through.
Suck it, other raid teams. Suck it.
Ah!
Speaking of raids, we finished the Crown of Sorrow raid, the new one. It was a thing, so, you know. That being said, Bungie has, like, put out... Okay, so here's the thing about Destiny 2, is, like, there's raids and there's raid layers, and it's, like, there's been, like, a couple raids that have come out that have felt like raid layers, because they're not very filled with things in them, like Leviathan, the proper raid, and then, Last Wish. Oh, Last Wish was so good. Like, Last Wish, I think, is one of my favorite D2 raids so far. It's like, so good. And then, Like this one comes out, and there's like a section where you do stuff, platforming section, boss fight at the end part 1 and boss fight at the end part 2, and it's like, oh, that's not very much. That's kind of a raid there. I think we were yet again deceptively told, oh, it's a new raid, and then it was like more of a raid there. But hey, whatever, man. Who's keeping score at this point? It's like, you know, just look forward to the Black Garden, Chris. Just look forward to going back to Venus, and then the Black Garden or Mars, wherever the F it's at, and you know, you'll be happy. I mean, okay. I'm kind of getting off topic here, but like, you know, I watched the stream. I've kind of had like a whole resurgence here after the Revelry came out, and I've kind of come back in and like kind of wanting to believe and drink the Kool-Aid, even though it's poisoning me and killing me every time. And I'm like, you know, maybe it'll be different this time. Maybe. And then of course, you know, they had their little stream of like, oh, Destiny 2, but how are things changing with the Shadowfall and the future, Stadia, crossplay, cross saves, well not crossplay, cross saves and all that stuff. And then like one of the stories, or not stories, one of the questions from like the person asking them from the community, they're like, so, storyline, gonna get anything resolved to wrap this up? We're like, we've got so many just like going in different directions and, you know, haven't really been really on point, on focus, on, you know, where is this heading? And there's so many things happening, and it's like, are we gonna have any type of resolution or like, you know, arc wrap up here? Anything of like all the things that have happened in Destiny 2? Because there's been a lot of things and none of them really related, and they just keep going off in their like 1,000 different ways of this crazy tree that's like all these branches, and they're just like, nah, Shadowfall's its own chapter, and it's like, oh, okay. So all the time I was like, oh man, Dreaming City, such a great build up, and just like, you know, weeks and weeks and weeks, and then it didn't pay off, and it's like, maybe they'll come back to it, and it's like, guess what, they're not coming back to it. Just like you know, Gaul was like, I took down the tower, but then we took the tower back, and then it's like, oh, that was the thing for like the base game, and it's like, that was it. And then like, you know, Destiny 2 compared to Destiny 1, man, I feel like it just doesn't hit that mark of like the things we did in that game compared to the things we're doing now. Like, I feel like I'm just an errand boy for the Vanguard, and like I just go and do things for them, and like nothing happens. Whereas in Destiny 1, we were killing gods and like saving the universe, and it's like we were doing things. We were going to Vault of Glass, it's like time and space is in conflux, and like stuff is going down, and like
although technically all these things are still just errands for the Vanguard. And you think about it,
it's the god slaying.
Yeah, RPG, the god slaying. Okay,
I mean,
Oryx is like the big bad.
It.
Frieza's in town. Gotta take him down before he reaches his final form and kills us all, and it was like epic, and the fight was epic.
Frieza. I think Crota would be more Frieza than anything on that one.
Anywho, but yeah, like I said, no.
I mean, if you're gonna do it right, Tekken.
So yeah, storylines, and then like, you know, that's my jam. Okay, it's like stories and characters, narrative, and they're just like whatever, dudes, because it's like that's kind of how Forsaken felt. Was like Saturday morning episode or season 2, Cade dies, and nobody cares because there's like no like nothing happens when like Cade dies. It's just like whatever, dudes. It's like you get some like one paragraph of like dialogue from like NPCs, but like besides that, there's no like big scene or like moment where it's like that was
like
emotionally invoking, and I felt things, and it's like whatever, dude. He's dead now. Haha, Cade, you dead. Okay, it weren't like that, but it's like nobody cares, and it's just like this is
Did it not affect like the game at all? He's just kind of just gone, and everybody just like, all right,
yep, pretty much.
So go grab some things from the hive now.
Yeah, it's like there's a bit
some alien
Go wear their skin.
There's some dialogue where people are like, I heard you killed Aldrin. I'm glad you put him down or something. Or it's like something for Cade, blah blah blah. But it's like nothing that is like, it feels like it never reaches that level of like, oh, that was like so emotional and amazing. It touched me. It's like, you know, the character moments I get in Mass Effect 3 when like you're having the final discussions with your characters, or like Liara shows you their memory, or like you have that party. It's like in like the Citadel DLC, like
eternity.
Nothing nothing gets to that level, and I was just like, dude, why am I doing this? And it's just like, that's what I saw in those Facebook memories. One of them was like, I'll keep playing Destiny, even though it's just a bunch of superfluous crap I don't need. My raid team needs me, it's kind of fun to raid, or like, I'll miss this, or blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, it's just a bunch of superfluous crap. That's kind of just summing it up. It's just, all these guns, I don't need them. All this armor, I don't need them. All XYZ and fill in the blank, don't need it. But then like the experience of the raid is just, so fun and good every week. And it's just like, I will miss those things. And it's like, I mean, next gen's almost here, but it's like, I don't want to lock myself in for like another year. So it's like, very conflicted. Very conflicted. I will
Well,
probably end
maybe
up
this
getting
is part of
it.
their plan, like to have all these things seem like they're unrelated, but then it's going to be like one grand, like
Yeah.
tie together,
Yeah,
and they're going to be
RPG.
like
MCU
those
Avengers
things you thought weren't
in-game,
important.
this ain't. I foresee that not happening. That would be awesome if it did, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
You don't
So.
know.
Especially if
I
there's an
mean,
epic boss or a space battle in our ships. Oh, that would be great. But
they might be
Stranger
like,
will come
oh,
back.
exactly. She'd be like, hey,
Find out what
I finally have time to
the
explain
darkness
now.
is.
And it's like,
she's
oh,
like, wait, Guardian, I must explain.
it's like, I finally have time
Come
to
to tell
explain.
you about the darkness.
It's like, oh, wait, that's still a thing? It's like, I thought we stopped fighting that like 20 seasons ago. Oh. Oh. Well, I'm sorry. I had things to do. It's like, oh. I mean, I guess go ahead then with your darkness. We'll listen, I guess. Because darkness. Kingdom Hearts.
You were tricked. Killing Atheon and Crota and just name dropping everybody.
Exactly. And then it's like, it actually turns out
It actually turned out, yeah.
they were all
darkness.
stones. You released the darkness! The darkness!
And then that's the thing about the Shadow Keep trailer. It's like you see all the old bosses. It's like, what the f? We already killed these guys. Like you can't just do that to me. Like bring them back. It's like we already fought that Taken where they take things. It's like what is this? Are they just like zombies or like they call it
Yes.
nightmares? And it's like okay. There's very good explanation behind this one because now you're just messing with me and I feel cheated. Okay.
The speaker comes back. You thought I was dead.
Like, well, I mean, we kind of saw you get murdered, so yeah. Yeah, we did.
But I speak for the traveler.
Although I still think the Traveler's evil. I don't think people should trust that guy. I'm just suspicious of him. What if he's actually like the jail cell for the darkness?
Then it should be out already.
I mean, at this point, yes. But
Or maybe it's really tiny.
It could be. Maybe it's like trying to regain its darkness, I guess. It's feeding on all the collective hate from the people running errands for the Vanguard. And then it's going to
Oh, yes. The hate for RNGesus becomes
They're
the
like-
darkness.
It's like it turns out all this time the darkness was manipulating the RNG so you would hate it and fuel him. And then it can start engulfing everything, and then you'll be like, oh no, we have to stop the darkness. And then that'll be your big final finale thing or something. I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure they're not going to do all of this because, Bungie, but, well, it's okay
Also,
to-
it doesn't sound that great.
Yeah, I know, because everybody's going to be like, really? This is it? That was it, guys? We went through all this crap.
Combat the darkness. We must do fun activities for the rest of the season, and it's just like
Basically, it's just like
racing and
exactly
trick-or-treating thing. And
barrel racing and Halloween mask and candy. It's like, guys, I don't think this is gonna stop the darkness. I don't.
all crimson doubles all the time because love.
Like that's it. I'm done. I'm done, man. I'm out.
Because
I'm out. Let the darkness take over. I don't even care. Out. Although it would be kind of funny if it did end all anticlimactically after all of this.
It's kind of weird too, because like after playing it so long and like hating it, like when it actually does like start to get better, like during the Revelry, and like I went back after like an entire season of like not or like barely playing, and just like seeing that they have like added like so much to the like sources of powerful drops to like, so you can decently get up to level. That being said, when you're in like the last like 10 to 5 levels of the cap, the game will it'll make you rage because it's like, oh, didn't you really need to like get that armor piece that you don't have, or like you're kind of just stuck. And it's like, until you get that, it's like, well, guess I'll log in today and do my daily, see what I get. Didn't get it. Guess I'll just not play for the rest of the day and just hope I get tomorrow or like next week, and just becomes a waiting game. And that's when it's the worst. It's like, oh, I just need this thing to get there, and just or like, you look at this week at Bungie, and it's like, oh, guess what, Guardians, we're gonna add heroic revelry, or not revelry, heroic menagerie, and we're gonna add extinguish. So it's like if you die, you're going back to orbit. And nobody asked for this, but that's what we're doing. Also, level cap, it's going to be 20 above that. So you know you don't really have a chance
Oh.
to finish this unless you're in a fire team with like well coordinated, really skilled people. But you know, we said we'd add it, and here's what we're adding. We didn't say how we'd implement it, but you know, now you know. Have fun, thanks. Please be excited. It's like, no, I didn't want extinguish. I didn't want that. I didn't. It's like, why did you do? Like, why? Why must you curb stomp my fun I was having with this mode that you added? It's like, oh, it's heroic, so F you, and here it is. And it's like, oh, well, guess I'm not playing that, so whatever. Yeah, man, like, Menagerie was such a slam dunk of, like, all the things that they've been trying to do for, like, ever, and, like, always failing. It's like, Court of Works, okay, but, like, mostly, And then Arcana Forge, they tried, it didn't work. Could have been cool, but whatever, it wasn't match made, just like Court of Orcs, and it's like Reckoning's just horde mode with like modifiers, but like of course it's the negative modifiers to like make you feel make you feel like you're just not even doing anything, because it's like secretly we'll have on match game but not tell you. And all the arc burns or all the burns are on, and like you know whenever the one with like no radar and light switch, whatever it's called now. That one, it's not called light switch anymore, but it's called that. You have no radar, and the melee hits from enemies do like way more damage. So it's like if Thrall, if a group of Thrall sneaks up on you, it's like you're dead. So it's like don't even try. And it's just like you know we could like not do these things and like have it just be like a fun, easy peasy. Are you having fun? Yeah, because that's what we wanted. But instead we're gonna be evil and brutal and just like stomp you into the ground because why not? F you. Ha 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 ha. We're Bungie. So yeah, I don't know. It's just, I guess it's just, you know. At the end of the day, Cyberpunk comes out next year and I'll be free. That's all I'm thinking. So it's like, whatever, man. Like, I'll suffer through in the short term, but in the long term, I know I'll be free. So it's like, you know, whatever. So, and it'll be fun. So it's like, you know, it's not. And the raids were fun. The raids are still fun. So it's like, you know, not like it's stopped being fun. So. And like you know, my characters we've come a long way. Me, my main dude Warlock, my Temptress Hunter, and my killer robot Titan. You know, it's like we've done things. Okay, we've had an experience. I'm still waiting to betray the Drifter because I totally double agent him with my Titan. I finally did that thing. But like, if there's ever an opening, I'm gonna take it and totally like depose him and stuff. It's gonna be great. Whereas my Hunter and Warlock are just like working for the Vanguard because that guy is shady, even though he's not. But still can't trust him because weirdo with a coin. Says things. It's he's always talking about like eating other alien factions in the wild. It's like that's gross, dude. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear how you're like eating on some hive or eating on some Vex or like just that's gross,
But I
man.
mean,
Nobody needs
what
to know
if they're
that.
delicious?
TMI Drifter, gee, is it just disgusting? Ugh, worse than me.
Wait, how does he eat the Vex? Aren't they like mostly metal?
He's all like the radiolorium. Isn't that delicious or something? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't the Vex. It's just weird and gross stuff I don't need to know. It's like about like the Hive and Fallen and like other factions and like eating them in the wild. And it's like that's gross, dude. That's effing gross. Like
They could be delicious though. There's that.
It's not. Would you want to eat some Hive RPG? Who just like
I mean,
fell down in
if
front of
everyone
you
else is
with
doing it,
decrepit skin it has and just things they grow from worms and like turn into that. So just keep that in mind. You're eating some like giant worm that is like grown into that, like the like reverse butterfly. There you go. Because that ain't no butterfly. That's a very ugly, gross, this decrepit, grotesque hive creature in front of you that you're eating. Have fun with that.
sounds delicious.
No waste.
But speaking of the cap, it's funny because I've been playing this pretty extensively. Because I've had a lot of free time, and I've only hit the level cap with my Warlock and Hunter, so still the grind is still garbage, and like the end game is still terrible. So f this game. But you know, besides that game, the only other game I've been playing is or that's like worth mentioning. I played some Dauntless. It's just grinding, so it's whatever. Only game I've played like make any type of like substantial progress besides like the Monster Hunter dailies and like the daily Criticism of Sport. Injustice 2, I played through the story of that. It was a fun time. I very much enjoyed the not double, but like the alternate ending. That was not Batman. It's like, whoa, that like went to some dark places. It's like it's funny. It's like really good because like you're thinking maybe Superman's gonna redeem himself from the first game and like not be evil, but it's like nope. And then like I just thoroughly enjoyed like the evil Superman thing because like that's who he is. That don't trust that guy. That's what he'll do. It's like that's why like now I have proof. I have like a whole thing to be like, oh, ever played Injustice 2? Look it up. That's why I don't trust Superman because that guy. Just, all it takes is one bad day. There you go. There you go. And he goes all the way. It's great. It's great. It's great. I was just like, oh man, I didn't like. Doesn't like. It's not like oh like I'll go like 10% evil and just be like maybe I can maybe you can like forgive this and like the line I'm about to cross. But it's like nope, I am about to do things and have this whole attitude about it and like you're not gonna like me after this. And it's like NetherRealm Studios, you went there. And I really like the like what they did with Supergirl as far as like the whole well if she was in space this whole time, like why didn't she age, or like all these things like immediately after like they introduce her and like she's like grown up and she's like wait where was she the whole time, and like explains the whole thing. I was like oh, because I was like wait a minute, and then it's like oh okay, well there you go, that explained the thing I was thinking in my brain of like wait that doesn't make any sense, why is she like not aged, what that's kind of neat. But yeah, I've very much enjoyed the. Oh yeah, also there's like some points where you can like choose which character in the chapters, but then there's like a thing where after you finish it the first time, it's like go back and go do all the things to see the alternate ending, and then it's like oh, it's basically the same with like different. I mean, it's cool that that's a thing, but it doesn't really change the overall story. It's not like a Telltale Quantic Dream style. It's just like a oh well, in this version instead of Firestorm tackling Wonder Woman off of this walkway, it's it's Blue Beetle tackling Wonder Woman off this walkway, or rather her tackling them, whatever. Just one of those things. It's kind of neat, even though it doesn't do anything cool. But like I did enjoy that they were like minor choices, even though they don't affect anything. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I did enjoy it, and it was a nice one and done. And I deleted off my hard drive from our space, so I didn't actually get to play as the turtles, even though I was looking forward to them a very long time, because no real reason to. So that was funny. But yeah, Injustice 2. As good as the first one if you enjoyed it. So check it out if you were a fan of that. And that's all I've been playing. That being said, I've been really jonesing for some Final Fantasy 7 and 9, because after seeing those things at E3, I was like, man. And then I watched some Twitch streams, I was like, people still play this. And like watching people play for the first time and like the reactions is like that's like my new thing, man. It's just like seeing people play for the first time and like the reactions is just like it's just like just like the passion that just like drips in and just like yes, I like this takes me back. It's very nostalgic and like yeah, people still like it. F the haters. You haven't tainted their love for the game. Ha. But yes, I've been playing.
Nice. I don't really remember what I've been playing. So the last thing I played was Everybody's Golf VR, which I picked up, I think, at the same time as Blood and Truth VR, and Trover Saves the Universe, which is also a VR game. Oh man, that one I definitely played during this time. Do either of you watch Rick and Morty?
No.
I do.
It's basically that. Because it's all voiced, or it's mostly voiced by the same guy who plays Rick and Morty, and the game basically is a space adventure, I suppose, and you are basically Morty, and then there is a Morty-voiced character who is like the Rick of the
You don't even get to
duo.
be the Rick? Oh no.
You don't get to be the Rick. You're
no.
There's just like numerous scenarios throughout the game where the guy Trover will tell you to do something, and then you do it, and then it turns out to be like this really horrible thing.
Oh dear.
And it's just like, yep, I'm the Morty. But yeah, the game is really funny in sort of the same way, and it's pretty clever. So the way that they solve the sort of moving around in VR thing is you are of an alien race called the Cherorpians, and the Cherorpians are a race that all sit in chairs, and so you're just like sitting in this floating chair, and you have a controller in your hand that allows you to turn the chair around so you can look around, and then later it like gets upgraded and you can do things like fly into the air to get a better like bird's eye view, and then in order to move around in the world, you control Trover like a third-person action game, and every time he reaches a warp point, you can push a button and then warp to that point where Trover was, and that's how they solved it. And yeah, it's essentially like a third-person action platformer type game, where the voice of Rick and Morty is just like talking the entire time and narrates just tons and tons of things. And yeah, the game, if you like Rick and Morty, you should check it out. And I think you can play it not in VR as well, although I tried it briefly and it felt like everything was really far away. Whereas in VR, like everything is in your face and it's just all around you. Yeah, it's pretty great. So I finished that game. Blood and Truth I also finished. So I don't remember if I talked about that one. What did I tell you I played?
Talk about that game.
I've never talked about Blood and Truth.
I don't
know what that is, so probably
It's
not.
basically, if you played PlayStation VR Worlds, there was one part that was called the London Heist. And it had parts where like a big burly guy emotes stuff in your face. And it was really cool because, you know, being one of the launch PSVR games, like, you don't realize what it's like to have digital characters up in your face. And these guys were really detailed, and they did a thing. They were sort of pioneers of a technique where the virtual characters follow you. So if you move your head and stuff, their eyes will follow you, and then if necessary, like, they'll turn their heads to face you. And it just makes them feel like, oh my gosh, like this guy is actually here and he's looking at me and he's like yelling in my face and he's gonna burn me with his cigarette, and it's just like really scary stuff. Or not really scary, but it's just like intense feeling because yeah, it's really strange to interact with digital characters that close. And so they took that and made an entire game, Blood and Truth, which has just everything. Action movie stuff. There's a part where you're running through a building that's collapsing and you break through a window and you're you're falling through the air and you have to grab onto like this shipping container that's suspended by a crane and then pull yourself up. There's just really crazy action sequences in it, and it's more interactive than I thought it would be. Like, I kind of thought it would be sort of a shooting gallery with sort of cutscenes in between where you're with these digital actors. But no, like, it has things where you have to physically climb up ladders with your hands and like climb up buildings and lots of climbing. Oh, and crawling through air ducts is also like all manually done with the move controllers. So it's quite good. I don't know if I agree with most of the critics that are saying like this is like the first real game in VR. Because in the end, I finished and I was like, well, I mean, yeah, production value wise, it was really great and there was a lot of stuff. But by the end, it still felt like if you finish a House of the Dead arcade game in the arcade, it's like, oh, wow, that was really high production value, but you wouldn't necessarily say that is the equivalent of, like, Uncharted or something like that.
I mean, it could be.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't feel the same magnitude. But other than that, yeah, like, it's really great. That was a really great week for VR games. Like, both of those were really great. And then the third one, which is the one I played most recently, was Everybody's Golf VR, which uses one move controller. I think you can also use the DualShock, but I haven't tried that. One move controller as like your golf club essentially, and then you're playing golf in VR. Although it's fairly simplified, so you don't have to do like a full golf swing or anything. I don't think it's down to the point where you can just do waggle controls, but it's like somewhere in between waggle and an actual golf swing.
do you have something in between a waggle and a golf swing?
Like a waggle is just sort of like your wrist,
I know what
right?
it is, but asking how do you have something in between those two things?
Because it's not. I'm pretty sure the way I've been playing it would not work on a true golf course. Like you would have to do like the full swing. But you don't have to do that in Everybody's Golf. It's just like simplified in a way that I can't really quantify because I've never played real golf. But definitely like doing the swing in the game, it's like, well, that doesn't seem like what people do in real life. So I'm pretty sure there's like assists or whatever is going on here, but that's fine because it's Everybody's Golf and it's supposed to be like golf made accessible to everyone. The weird part with it though, or I guess it's not weird. Like I've heard someone talk about it and say that it's kind of weird because like while you're playing, occasionally there'll be these event scenes with your caddy, and the two caddies in the game are both women, and so it's just like they kind of feel like summer lesson type scenes, but I guess like less so, but a little bit. So it's like, it feels kind of weird. Like there's a scene where she offers to feed you chocolate, and then like she's like psych. So it's not actually, but it almost is. It's like that's really strange in Everybody's Golf. But then there's like comedic ones too. So there was one where your caddy turns around and is like, "Oh, you want to get to the next like hole quicker? Like I know a shortcut." And the scene cuts to like the both of you balancing on this log over this giant canyon, and there's like a river way down below. And I guess like that's one of the experiences that people think are fun in VR, where it's just like, I'm super afraid of heights. This looks super high. And you're just like balancing, and the wind is really strong, and you stand there a minute, and then she's like, okay, this is really dangerous. We should go back. So, yeah, that part is kind of weird. But the golf part I'm really enjoying. It's very easy, I think, or it's simple, but hard to master, I guess. Because so far, I've never gotten a score below 5, I think. So that's like 5 above par, which is not good. I think I've only gotten one birdie ever in the probably 15 or 20 games of golf that I've played in VR. But yeah, like, I don't know. I liked Everybody's Golf, but I didn't really play it that much. It was always, I would play, a game and then be like, okay, I'm kind of done with that for now. And I get distracted, so I don't really go back to them if I say I'm done for now. So far, this one, yeah, it feels more compelling to me, doing the motion controls to play it. So yeah, I think that one is pretty decent. I think Trover was the one that I played the most, although I think Blood and Truth has the most content, and then this one is like, I guess somewhere around there too. I thought everything that came out that week was pretty good. And then finally, this week was the release date of Vacation Simulator for PS4. It's a sequel to Job Simulator, and they sort of blew out everything. So now, instead of every environment you being sort of like stuck in one place, like the office environment, you were just like in one cubicle and you could interact with everything in the cubicle, but you couldn't leave the cubicle. Now you can actually move around. So they have a sort of teleport type system in place for you to move around the different environments. And there's like 3 different vacation spots. There's a beach, there's a mountaintop that's all snowy, and there's like a forest you can go hiking and camping in. And yeah, it sort of continues the sort of premise of this is what computers in the future think that vacation was like in the past for humans. And there's a story that I haven't gotten to the end of yet where it's there's like a bot who apparently created the vacation simulator, and she just wants you to like have fun, human, go vacation.
Wait, Tropical. The part you just said, the bots think that. What? Could you repeat that? Because I should
so Job Simulator was a game in which you are a human and you're visiting a museum in the future. And in this future, like robots have all the jobs. So like humans don't work anymore. And so like the robots in the future have made this museum about what work was like in the past. And then so you go there as like a tourist and you get to do things like, oh, this is like office work simulation. And you gotta like type emails and like fire people and hire people and like Xerox things. But it's all like kind of wrong. Like the computer that you're working on just has 2 keys, a 0 and a 1. And you just like click, say, oh, password. And you just like hit the big buttons, click again, and the screen says, close enough. And then there's like, you get 20,000 emails, and you don't even look at them, and you just hit delete. It's like 0. It's like, job complete. And it's just like,
all these. It's kind of like the whole toilet bowl situation with the Horizon Zero Dawn thing.
Yeah, they just like don't really know, I guess, in the future. And so, yeah, like, I think this is sort of continuing the same premise, except now it's vacation. But it seems like it's a slightly different story because, there's like one bot who apparently created the vacation simulation, and she's like very eager for you to just experience it and go out and play and stuff. And then there's another bot who's all about metrics. And so he's like added all of these gates. It's like, oh, you can't go to these memories yet, or you can't go to these destinations yet because you don't have enough memories. And he wants you to like collect these sort of quantified memories. And so the first one is like, oh yeah, you got, scan your wrist. It's like, oh, it says you have 0 memories. Well, here's one memory for you now. It's a memory of the time you had no memories. And then get it, and then you can unlock the first gate and you go in. And yeah, you go around and you like do different tasks for people.
So you can make memories.
Yeah, so you can make memories and then go to like specific destinations. And yeah, there's some sort of like story going on there, but I haven't gotten to the end of it yet. Because so the first time you get enough memories to go to like this one destination site, there'll be sort of an argument between the two of them, where the metrics bot is like, I don't understand. Like, the metrics are all trending downward. Like, the more memories he has, the more, like, the lower it's going. I have to analyze this data. And then he, like, blue screens and just, like, sits there. And so there's something. Right now, my task is, like, I have to collect 30 memories total to unlock a party. And somehow that's gonna fix everything or something.
Game is weird.
It's weird, but it's really fun. Like, it's just like, it's just one of the early things that I think people found fun in VR, where it's just like being able to interact with anything, and then those objects like behaving in ways that you expect, but are also kind of unexpected. So, like the copy machine, for example, in the office simulator was made in such a way that it could copy anything. So you could like grab a donut and put the donut on it, and then push the copy button, and another donut would come out.
That's not how copy machines work.
And it's just like, oh, that's funny. And then you could do a thing like if you put your VR head in the copy machine and then push the button, a brain would come out of the side. And it's just like kind of expected and also kind of unexpected. And so this one has like there's a sand castle building table, and instead of just like sand that you sort of mold with like cups and stuff, it's all like prefabricated blocks of sand that you just sort of assemble like Legos to make the specified like sand castles that they want you to make, and then once you've made a certain number of them, you get a memory. Yeah, it's pretty wacky, but it's pretty good. It's a lot bigger game than the first one. The first one really you were like locked into the environment that you were in. Whereas this one, you can, in fact, some of the later puzzles, like you have to bring things from the forest, for example, to the beach in order to complete certain tasks. And so you have a backpack that you get by reaching your move controller behind your back. You bring it out. And then, yeah, it's just better in every way. Oh, a thing I really appreciate about the sequel is the first game had so the way that you calibrate the game before you start playing is you reach both arms out to your sides and then pull both triggers. And I think what it does is like it measures the distance between the two move controllers and sort of makes a guess about, okay, how tall is this person? And then that's where they put your head height in the game world. My daughter really liked the first game, but then every time she did it,
she's too small for everything.
Yeah, it always like measured her actual height and then didn't like adjust for her to play the game. So she was just like she would get into the game world and all the counters and everything would be like eye level, and she would have to like she would bring a chair most of the time. She would like bring a chair over and try to see it outside of the headset, and then just like stand on it when she needed to. And but the way you're supposed to do it is in the calibration screen in the beginning, you can raise and lower the floor, like pretend or adjust it so that your in-game character is taller. The only problem was the only way to get to this calibration screen was to exit whatever thing you were in, go back to the main menu, and then push this like virtual physical button in virtual reality, and that would take you back to calibration. I was like, this is like too hard. And so in the second one, all you have to do is reach for your backpack, put it in front of you, and there's a zipper at the bottom that you can open up, and it changes from your inventory to like an options screen where you can raise and lower the floor. And they've added a small human mode, which I guess like fixes it automatically.
The kitties.
It just adjusts everything automatically. And it's like, oh, this is so cool. And they did a thing where like you could just use the share button to capture screenshots, but there's an in-game camera that you can use to take selfies, and so that's one of the differences. Like before, you couldn't see yourself, and now you can. So you can take selfies, and then it's like a Polaroid camera type, and you take the pictures, and there's a scanner in your backpack, and you put the picture in the scanner, and it like renders it out to your capture gallery on the PlayStation 4 like system itself, and so you can make screenshots that way. I think that's pretty neat too. Yeah, lots of stuff. It's quite cool. Yeah, I've been playing mostly VR, I think.
Ew.
And those four. I've been trying to get through Batman Enemy Within. Is that it? The second season? The Telltale one?
Yes.
So, hopefully, because I hear
is one
these
of the
things
Batman free at one
I
point?
think so.
Am I imagining that?
I think it might have been
Was it the second one or the first one?
probably the first one.
Well, hopefully not the second one, because you're gonna go in and be like, what's going on here?
All you need to know.
Who's
is
Batman?
Yeah, I think that's the only like 2D game I can remember playing in these past few weeks. I've been very busy. I built a patio.
Wait, what? It's not like a normal person thing to do. Just,
I did it by hand too.
oh dear.
It took me 2 days to dig up the grass.
You know, usually they just pay people to do that.
There's a
RPG.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean,
It's a machine. It's like a blade that like goes under the grass and then cuts it up, and then you can just like roll it up like a carpet.
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I wasn't sure. I didn't know if it existed. I don't think I knew that it existed when I started. And then like my neighbors saw me and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna rent that machine the weekend. So if you want to get in on it," and I was like,
If
I
you
don't want to
to
have it done before the weekend. Of course, that didn't happen. So I got to watch them use the machine. And it's like, man, my 8 hours of work was like seconds with the machine.
awkward.
So, whatever. Anyway,
All because you wanted to be stubborn.
no, I
and
just
not
wanted it to be
use
done
technology.
before they got it. It was not done. It was done the day that they had it, but I don't know. Everything would probably would have been easier if I'd used the machine.
That's
Yeah.
usually how that works in the post-industrial revolution age, Tropical.
Right up
Too
until the
late.
robots take over. Until they take over. Because
Anyway.
we warned ourselves.
Yeah, repeatedly. There's a new movie coming out too.
Is there?
Is there?
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Wait, which-
it's like there's that new Terminator movie.
Oh, okay. Also, Horizon, the complete edition, even with all the DLC, is on Greatest Hits. So $20 to see how we warn ourselves of the darkest timeline that is coming.
And yet we still somehow managed to screw everything up. Go humanity.
I mean,
Uh-oh.
everybody's always saying, "Oh, Jurassic Park, they could clone dinosaurs." I'm pretty sure we're going to get the robot dinosaurs before we get to clone dinosaurs, because, yeah.
I mean, at this point,
Can't even help ourselves from like, let's make even smaller smartphones that fold in half because we totally need those, but we don't. But whatever.
well, I mean, with our luck, we'll probably end up with some kind of like clone cyborg dinosaurs that'll be even worse than either of the two by themselves, and it's gonna be like, oh, this is fine. This is all fine. So yeah, it's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be terrible.
Because the Jurassic dinosaurs really, they just wanted to do what they do. Like, they didn't know any better. They were
Exactly.
just eating those people because they were hungry.
They're just
The
like
cyborg,
delicious.
They were
The
hungry.
cyborgs are gonna be like,
dinosaurs will
I
be
can
like,
think.
we have decided you're not worthy of this planet.
Yeah,
It's
it's
our
like
planet again.
sentience has been achieved, and humans, turns out you're terrible, so we're getting rid of all of you, starting now.
Like, whose idea was it to give them lasers? I mean, sometimes we do things without thinking. And that was one.
be cool.
And why did we put the weak point in their butt? So we could stop.
Horizon Zero Dawn. And that's how the story began. This is the story
This was
of
the prequel.
Horizon Zero Dawn. It's true. That could be the prequel. That could be the prequel. It's like we
else
thought
are
it
we
would
gonna
be a
power them
theme
up
park.
from? Jeez. Mouths are too,
Mouser.
whatever by their teeth.
I mean, either way, it's all a bad idea, guys. It's all a bad idea. I just want to point that out. Because, we've warned ourselves. But like I said, at this point, there's so many like apocalypses like piling up. We're just gonna be like, it's just gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a mess, man. It's gonna be a mess.
Sharknado.
Basically, except with cyborg dinosaurs in them, because reasons. because reasons. So yeah, between the robots, the dinosaurs, the zombies.
NATO.
Yeah, it's just gonna be just a real yeah. We are screwed, man. We are like screwed.
Yeah, and then like I saw there was like a headline about like a saber-toothed tiger or some like ancient wolf, not ancient wolf, it was like a prehistoric wolf in like the permafrost layer of Russia that was like de-thawed because it's de-thawing, so they keep digging things up. Like every time I see a story about that, I'm just like, this is how the kaiju come in. This is where the kaiju come from. 'Cause it's like, you know, they were just sleeping in like ice sleep because they're frozen, and we warmed up the planet because we're like, woo, whatever, dudes. And then it's like, hey, guess what? Consequences. Because it's too warm, and you know you had 12 years to put the bottle back on the genie cap, and you guys couldn't. And then you know, besides the water rising, we got kaiju, and it was like, yeah, have fun with that. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's how Pacific Rim happened.
Have you watched the Godzilla movies?
Nope.
The recent one?
I want to
Are
see
they
it.
also how we could warn ourselves from a future?
Probably. Probably.
A little bit.
It's like at this point, guys, we've warned ourselves of so many apocalypses, but they're all still piling up anyway. We really got to get it together. We really got to get it together, guys.
The new one is pretty cool. You want to see cool stuff.
And doesn't that one have like
monsters.
36 kaiju or some nonsense like that going on? They're just like
Pacific Rim? Or wait.
No, not Pacific Rim,
yeah.
the Godzilla movie.
Yeah, something
They're
like
just
that.
like all of the kaiju, all of them. It's like, oh, this is fine. This is all fine. So yeah, we're pretty much screwed either way. Pretty much screwed either way, guys. I'm looking forward to serving whatever Overlord takes over, because we got many.
Just let us keep our game devs. RBG, what have you played?
Actually not much, because I mean I was gone for most of this time that we were on our break.
Yeah.
So I did play a bunch of Dark Souls 3 once I got back, but that's only just to do my normal thing when I'm like running around helping people with their fun times of beating bosses and all that stuff. So mostly been doing that thing, because at first I couldn't find anybody, but then eventually I was able to find like a bunch of people, so I was able to help a lot of people with their stuff, so that was cool. So I'm actually playing it right now as we speak. so
Are you
yes.
the Batman of Dark Souls?
I'm like the Batman of Dark Souls. That is an accurate descriptor of what I do, because while everyone else is out there trying to like tell people they're terrible at games and be like, you're good, I'm like, how about you instead help them be good instead of being, you know, an a-hole, so that they can enjoy the game. So yeah, that is that. So yeah, I must have been playing that. I mean, I played Trails of Cold Steel 3 as well when I was like traveling, mostly because it's like I needed the something to do while I was like on planes for like 6 billion years and whatnot. So that was happening. But yeah, it wasn't. I haven't played anything major except for like a lot of like betas and alphas that I had gotten into and all that fun stuff. So yes, I am excited for the games that I do get to try though. That is going to be a fun time actually. So but yeah.
So you're not gonna talk about Monster Hunter?
What, Iceborne?
Yeah.
The beta thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I could, but I mean, I mean, did you guys play it or?
I'm waiting for the full version. I don't do
Wow.
betas and demos.
But it's.
I
it's
save
so
my whatever happiness for it.
But they've made so many wonderful changes. It's like it's pretty great actually.
I keep seeing them on
It's
Twitter. I'm like,
Gee,
ooh,
great.
ooh. And then there was like that weird video with the handler, and she's like, "Hey guys, let me tell you about all the things."
Shut
that
up,
are-"
handler.
It's like, why did they have to call it Hoarfrost? Jeez, of all the different frosties, they couldn't just like have one that's not a Hoarfrost. I'm just saying, that's like that will never get old. Thanks, Capcom. Thanks.
They might have done that intentionally. It's Capcom, so I mean,
It's like, thanks for adding weird to the game that didn't need to have weird added to it, but whatever.
Yes, I also played the Monster Hunter Iceborne demo, so that's it's actually been pretty cool. I mean, based on what you can see in the demo, it seems like they've made quite a few changes, which is good because I mean it's an expansion, so of course they had to add a bunch of stuff to make it kind of worthwhile. Otherwise, everybody's gonna be like, "What's the point of this?" But all of all of the weapon types have gotten well. Not only have they gotten like quality of life changes, but they've most of them or all of them have new moves and quite a few of them have new abilities as well. And there's like a new mechanic called the clutch. Oh god, I'm never gonna be able to say this. There's too many C's and stuff going on in that. But now you can like latch onto the monsters, and now I think the video they initially showed has it where it's just like that you kind of clutch you jump onto the monster and you like attack them, but you can actually the way it works is it's kind of like a low version of the mounts kind of because you can still move around while you actually do that to like position yourself, but it also so it gives you the ability to also like change the direction of the monster. Like for instance, if it's like one of those charging monsters, which there's probably going to be a bunch of in this new expansion, if you use like the circle button while you're on them, they get to they have the it'll like change their you'll like punch them or something if you're on their head, and then they'll change the direction that they're moving in, and you can kind of like maneuver them into like a wall if you want by using the by expending all your what's it called, the ammo thingy that you shoot, that thing. It'll like do like a stun shot, and you can like ram them into walls and stuff to like stun them and stuff if you want to. So there's also that part of the mechanic too, but generally speaking, like you can latch on to different body parts, and if you press triangle, it'll do like a weapon attack and it's different per weapon what attack you do, but yeah, it's like that thing. And then a lot of the like I said, a lot of the other weapons have gotten changes added. Now I only use the weapons that I main, so I only know the changes for the other weapons based on the videos I saw, like the bow being able to, or the bow guns being able to combine the slinger ammo with their ammo and stuff like that to do various things. So but yeah, it was it's really cool because you can some of the changes are pretty nice for the weapons to add like an extra layer of strategy for the fights. So yeah, and then now they've also kind of changed it so that you can customize your HUD, so you can either remove everything, add other stuff that you need, and that kind of thing. And then the hunter notes actually now are a bit more expanded, so you can actually read up on the weapons that you use if you want, and it gives you a list of combos you can do, the different abilities and stuff of the weapons are and everything. So it's like it's a bit more in depth, so people who are new to it aren't just like kind of flailing around and hoping for the best kind of thing. So so yeah, there was so that was cool. And then there's 3 monsters in the beta that you get to fight. The first one is the Jaggers, which is already included in the regular Monster Hunter. So I mean that's pretty much standard. So but I mean it lets you get used to the different weapons and their new skills and everything before you hop into the other ones, which are, I forgot the name of the moose monster because I keep calling it moose monster, so I don't remember its actual name. So, but yes, so the second one is the moose monster, which is you fight him in his snow level, and then that introduces you to that's the one that actually introduces you to the snowy terrain stuff. So you do have the hot drinks do make a return because now you have to make sure you drink them.
Oh, yeah,
so
that was
you
in the video too with the handler. She's like, let's drink a hot drink to get ready.
Yeah,
I thought that was
so
funny.
that's a thing now. So yes, you have to get back to doing that fun time. So and then so they did add the new like status effects and stuff to reflect that stuff, and now you can so yeah, the new Moose Monster thing, it like it's one of the it like kind of interacts with the environment a bit. So it can pick up rocks and trees and stuff in the environment, and it'll change its attacks based on what it's holding. So with the rocks, it'll do like a smash attack, but with like if it's like holding a tree and its antlers, it'll like charge around like to kind of use the tree as like a battering ram. sort of thing. So and then and that kind of stuff. But and then it also has its own like regular moveset when it doesn't have anything in its antlers. But yeah, it kind of moves around and does all kinds of stuff like that. So and then the other one that they showed before actually does make an appearance in the beta, but if you try to if you attack it, then the handler is going to be like, oh no, you shouldn't be, you need to focus, go take care of the moose monster because that's what we're here for. And it's like, hey, how about you shut your face, maybe I want to fight the weird snow shark thing. So the snow shark thing is in there too, but you can fight it if you want, but they're going to be all like, no, don't fight it because we don't want you to have fun. So stupid handler. Stupid handler. So, but yes, it's in there. So you can kind of semi-see it in action. And then the third fight is with Tigrex, which is an addition from one of the previous Monster Hunters. I forget which, but it was it showed up in the portables first. And then it's one of the brute wyverns that has like a roar that can actually damage you, which is like its special ability. So you kind of have to be wary of its like super roars and everything. Actually, somebody got one shot at when I first started. When we like went in there, because it's like it roared and like pretty much murdered him or her as soon as we like walked in there. I was like, well, you should probably have watched out for that. So yeah, but yes, the roar is very powerful, which is what makes Tigrex so dangerous. But it does like to jump around, and it's a pretty wild wyvern, so it's probably gonna be a fun fight for new and old hunters alike, because it doesn't really move like any of the. I guess maybe Toby's like the closest, because Toby does jump around a lot too, but Tigrex is very aggressive, so it should be a fun fight for people who have never fought it before, and for returning hunters who have fought it before, because then they can kind of, jump back in there with that. But of course, Capcom has revealed a bunch of other monsters that are coming to the expansion as well. So there's apparently even more stuff coming, because I think the final number was like there's supposed to be 30 or so monsters added to the expansion by the time it's all said and done. So they're adding a lot. So a lot of people are theorizing it's going to be all the flagships, which seems to be kind of being supported by the fact that Tigrex and Nargacuga and I think what was Glavenus they were all revealed to be in the game, and they were all flagships in their respective titles that they debuted in. So a lot of people are theorizing that they're going to add the flagships from the other games, which would be cool. But then that also means they're going to have to add all of the status effects that came with some of them, because some of them had their own special effects with them as well. So that should be interesting when they come. But yeah, a lot of the changes are really cool, and I do like it. It was very fun to play. The missions actually didn't take very long, so you can kind of go through there and play and enjoy yourself and get your little accommodation packs for all 3 missions if you'd like, so that way you have your little item sets to start off with when you get going. But some other stuff that they added too are like you can now upgrade the mantles, so you can add decorations to them, so that when you wear them you can basically get whatever decoration effect it is added to your normal skill set as long as you're wearing them. So for instance, if you put like attack jewels in the mantle, and then you already have like attack on your armor set, it'll basically add the levels of however many jewels you have to that ability kind of thing. So but it'll only be for while you're wearing the mantle, but you can do it for all the mantles now. So you can kind of use that as like another layer of strategy for like, oh, okay, if I use this mantle, I can kind of make this, I can use this as a stat kind of increase thing and stuff like that. So so that's another added layer of strategy as well. And it appears that because they do give you other, what are those things called, charms to use while you're in the demo. So it does appear that they're also adding new abilities and stuff as well, because some of the new charms have different skills and stuff that weren't in the base game. And in addition to that, it seems like some of the other skills have also changed a bit, because one of the ones I used in the base game for my hunting horn is the Horn Maestro skill, which was only had 1 level in World, but in the beta it has 2 levels to it. So now it like one of them it increases the effect, and then the other one like greatly increases the area of effect and the duration of the buffs and stuff like that. So some of the even like the returning skills are being like upgraded and changed as well. So they've made like quite a few changes and adjustments and everything, which is cool. So it seems like this expansion is really gonna they really put in some work for this, which is good. So it won't feel like, oh no, I wasted my money kind of thing. So
Why did it take so long?
well, yeah. So it's gonna be so yeah. I mean, and I guess considering how they did support the base game too, even once you get the expansion, they'll probably be still supporting the expansion as well. So even with the base expansion, by it's all said and done, we'll probably still have like a bunch more content coming for free even after the expansion. So that's going to be cool to look forward to as well, to see what they add after that and everything. So, but I am wondering if they're going to like retroactively alter the previous weapons, or is it going to be like or are these new additions going to be for like the master rank for some of these things? Because like with the hunting horn, for instance, there's a new echo melody that you can use, but I don't know if they're going to retroactively give all of the previous horns a skill for that, or it's just going to only be for like the master rank horns that you can make or something. But I guess we will find out when the main game comes out. But yeah, it's it's cool. It's cool. So I was enjoying that. It is a lot of fun to play that, and then playing through the little ice level, which I'm not sure if that's going to be the only environment that they have. Which I mean, I doubt it will be, but since it is going to be the main one, I'm pretty sure like they have other, because it seems like it's fairly it's like semi-large-ish, because I mean, from based on the demo, there are other parts to the area, and in the fight with Tigrex, he roared and like broke the floor at one point, and it caused us to kind of like fall, or well, me and the other guy, the other one he missed the cave in, but we like fell to like some underground area that was like kind of like a cave type of thing that was there. So it seems like there's going to be like other types of terrain and things in that area, so it won't just be just the giant snow thing. So that should be interesting as well to see. But yes, that's all I've been playing.
Okie dokie.
Artichoke.
So, no news this week because we're basically post E3, so it's like all the news will be post E3 stuff, and we didn't really have much of a pre E3 / E3 stuff, so it's like just E3 up the wazoo here in the second segment.
Wazoo!
So, yeah, where do we begin?
Well, I didn't watch Microsoft's conference, so I don't know what I only saw the highlights of what was going on with them. I didn't actually like watch it because I was like, yeah, it's Microsoft. I'm probably not gonna buy Scarlet anyway. But.
Well, I mean, so I think we should like just go with what stands out in your mind. But yeah, like going off what you just said, they did not really show much Scarlet stuff. I think this is the first time they said the word Scarlet, so now it's official, even though like I thought last year like it was just leaked.
I think the code name was just like what people were saying.
So this is the first time that they've said Project Scarlet, and it's Scarlet with 2 T's. Yeah. But yeah, like apparently, according to Digital Foundry, like their sort of montage talking about Scarlet video at the end was basically the exact same video as their video for Scorpio. But
saying it was the most powerful console ever and all that stuff.
So it seemed really weird. It felt like, because PlayStation stepped out of this E3 this year, that there was going to be a huge, like, Microsoft is going to blow out their next-gen console plans, and we're going to see everything, and we're going to see what next-gen games look like. And then it was like, kind of. It's all like Halo Infinite, which definitely look better, but it didn't. I don't think it looked like, oh my gosh, like that is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It looked better in a way that's very technical. I think. Like I think if you had experts look at it and be like, oh yeah, see this kind of like smoothing or whatever, you can't do this on PS4 or Xbox One. This is next gen, and like for a non-expert just looking at it, it's like it looks good, it looks smooth. Does it scream next generation to me? Nah, not really. Although to be fair, I guess it was just like a cutscene, so we are used to seeing incredible looking cutscenes.
Yeah, it's like that's already a thing. So it's
Yeah.
not like
It was really weird though, because like it seemed like Tropical said, like Sony is not there. Microsoft essentially has like E3 all of themselves, because they're kind of Nintendo's the whole thing. We're like we don't really compare ourselves to competition, blah blah blah. So it's like okay, let's see if Microsoft can for once, not, you know, in it, they had a moment. It's like just faces were loaded. All you gotta do is like hit a home run. It's just like no, they just couldn't. It's just like the same old SOP. It's like Forza Gears payload. It's like that. Yep, yeah.
it's true.
Just like you're expecting more. It's like we bought all these studios. It's like I mean, yeah. I was befuddled. I was like, dude, like I I mean, I guess like thinking about it, I could see why they wouldn't show Scarlet if they have like another holiday season before it shows up, because they don't want to be like, oh, no one's gonna buy Xbox Ones now, so whatever. But it's like at least we know next year. It's like next year, yeah. So it's like it was really weird. That's like kind of like the theme for E3 was like 2020, 2019, not so bad. Could be worse. But it's like next year the killers are out and it's going to be just amazing.
Well, I mean, there was a bunch of stuff that got release dates for this fall, though. So, I mean, it's not like we have to wait until 2020 before we get the other stuff. There's still like a lot of fall stuff coming.
I mean, there's still stuff this year. It's just like anything that excited me, I felt like I didn't know about beforehand was all next year. Except for, I think I forgot about Astral Chains. So it's like, that was like, one of the few things. But like, besides that, I mean, I guess Nintendo, for like me, kind of saved the day as far as 2019. Because it's like, that, the Secret of Mana collection thing. Well, I guess nothing at Microsoft, because like, obviously I'm not talking about them. Because like, oh yeah, they're just blah, 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 blah. But like, 2019, kind of just people playing it safe. And like, but then also at the same time not being pulling a Bethesda, which did not pull Bethesda and like announce games for this year, and being like, this is coming out this year. It's like, Bethesda, you're breaking your own rules. What are you doing? It's like, come on, man. You just gotta can't do that, man. You gotta stay with the formula. It's working, and then you're just like, nah. Here's this game about stuff in Tokyo and stuff. No gameplay, CG.
There was a lot of CG trailers this year. It felt like,
dude. It was like, besides Doom Eternal, it was like, where's this sweet game with a sweet gameplay presence in a trailer form? And then I heard like a conspiracy theory when I was watching the Easy Allies, their whole recap of like every day. They had like a ton of coverage. It was fun to watch. I had like a whole command center set up, because I had like one screen was like the Treehouse, one screen was like IGN, because it was on my Fire TV station. Apparently, my mom like sent me an email. I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that. Thanks, mom. And then I just watched it while I watched it while I played Destiny 2 in silence and hated myself secretly. But I was at E3 virtually, and it was a fun time. And then it was great. But then like the thing they said was like maybe nobody wanted to have like an Anthem moment where they showed a bunch of stuff that like the game did not turn out to be, and then just like save themselves trouble from like the uproar from the community of like, this game doesn't look like this. It's just for Drew.
The whole Spider-Man puddles thing.
Yeah. And then like what you did get was just like stuff like when Watch Dogs whatever was shown, it's like a small bit, and it's like every time saw it at a stage demo, it was like the same thing over and over. So it's like one of those things too, where it's like you see the same stage demo at like each time the game is shown, like whatever outlet you're watching. It's like, oh, this again. So I mean, besides Treehouse was really good. So, because man, Fire Emblem, that one looks whatever the next one's called that comes out soon. I was like,
Three Houses.
that one, yes. I was like, yeah, this one looks good. That being said, not sure if it's in my budget, but I do kind of.
It's gonna be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Also, I keep looking at my Switch and I'm like, I haven't played anything on you, Switch. Why do I own you? And it's like, I feel so bad about this decision, but then I guess at least I have one now, so all these sweet games are coming out I can play. Yay! And I might want to actually get on Breath of the Wild, because man, that mic drop at the end of their direct, that was great. That was like, that made E3 for me. I was like, ooh, Nintendo just out of nowhere. It's like, oh, we got a sequel in development. Yeah.
Legasp.
Microsoft didn't have that at their conference, just saying.
They have a Halo sequel in
We
development.
already knew that RPG. Saw it last year. I mean,
They
it
have-
wasn't like. I mean, that's the other thing. It's like we saw it again. Like, wasn't like anything extensively like more in gameplay form compared to last year. It's like, dude, come on, like, whatever.
I mean, they have a new Gears sequel
They
in
have
development.
multiple games of Gears in the development. The Funko mobile game, the
Oh,
flippin'
yeah.
Gears 5, which is more Gears, so I kind of don't care.
More Gears. That should be
Gears
like the
of War,
subtitle for
like
one
I,
of the
yeah, like I was saying that one
sequels.
time. Gears of War.
Gears of War. More Gears.
Gears of more Gears. But yeah. And I was kind of bummed out because like Cyberpunk I'm super hyped on, but it's like after last year's gameplay demo, it's like I wanted more gameplay, and it was a trailer CG, and I was like, man.
Well,
And then-
they had other outlets were like showing some demo stuff, I think.
No, apparently the demo video will be released at PAX
Yeah, I saw
West.
that. I was like, I have to wait until August.
I know.
What a wait. But it's gonna be like another long one, dude. Like that hour long from last year was like it killed it, dude. Like that basically was like everybody else like try harder because this is the level I expect, and it's just like I expect the same thing to happen this year. Cause like I mean, I was fine with what I saw. I personally was like not one of the people who's like, oh, Keanu Reeves, oh, losing my mind. It's like, I mean, I guess you have to like see it because I didn't see it live. I probably like would have like probably had that happen. But like I saw it trending on Twitter. I was like, why is there a freedom about? Then like when I saw like the context of like, oh, okay, he was actually there, and like that's how the reveal happened, and like I got to like watch it. Like the replay after the stream was archived because I didn't see it live. I was like, oh, okay, because I can see why people were kind of losing their minds about this. It's kind of a big deal. So yeah.
So going back a bit, Stadia's Connect was the Thursday before E3.
Oh man, that was weird.
It's not subscription, although there is a subscription. What is it? $10 a month for 4K streaming, essentially.
I don't remember honestly. Isn't there only a tier? There's another thing besides the subscription one.
Yeah. So, like everyone assumed it was going to be a subscription entirely, and it's like Netflix basically. But it's not. Like Stadia Basic, which is no subscription, is you buy games on Stadia, then you can play them, and there's no
that's
subscription
right,
involved.
because you don't actually have access to them because it's streaming. That's what like the big kerfuffle was.
Yeah. So it's like, and then the other difference is like you only get 1080p streaming if you just buy them without a subscription. Their subscription they called Stadia Pro, which is I think it's $9.99 a month, and it's you get 4K streaming, HDR, 5.1 surround sound, and then there is something like the Instant Game Collection from PlayStation Plus of old, where they add games, more and more games over time that you can access through the streaming. The first game will be Destiny: The Complete Collection. Or sorry, Destiny 2: The Complete Collection, which will have everything up to
Forsaken.
yes, so all the free to play stuff. Eventually free. What's it called? New Light.
Yeah, you like.
New Light, Destiny 2 New Light. All of that stuff will be Stadia Pro stuff that you get starting November, because that's when Stadia Pro comes out for the first time. if you decide to pre-order the Founders Pack, which is $130, you get a Stadia controller and a Chromecast Ultra, and then 3 months of Stadia Pro, and a Friend Pass. So you get a 3-month Friend Pass of Stadia Pro that you can give to someone else.
Doesn't have a Stadia controller.
It doesn't
buy Stadia.
Yeah. But you can use any controller through a laptop, or I think laptop is the only one that you could do it on. Because can you plug a controller into a smartphone?
I mean, you can try.
I guess it's a Pixel.
I wouldn't
It's only
recommend it.
Pixel 3,
Yeah,
so
only
yeah.
Pixel 3 has a functionality.
I only have a Pixel 2, so there goes that plan.
And then I guess like general release of Stadia will be
November?
next year sometime.
Oh.
Like November is for the Founders thing. So if you pre-order this $130 bundle, November is when it's supposed to ship out, and you get access to Stadia. And another thing, it was like Ouya all over again, where one of their selling points was like, oh, you get to choose your Stadia name before other people can, so you can grab your name before other people get it. That's just whatever. But the rest of it, it's pretty cool. I jumped on that.
The amount I think some people were worried about the whole data capping things, though, too, for if they don't have, like, unlimited internet, basically, because some of the amount of data that Stadia uses in, like, the course of, like, a few hours is, like, basically some people's caps for, like, the year.
Well, it's really, like, it will expose the absurdity of data caps. Apparently, because data speeds keep going higher and higher, right? But data caps are not keeping pace. So at current speeds, like the highest, I forget, it's something like you would basically have 10 minutes of internet if you had the maximum speed, and then it was their data cap. It's like, this is dumb. Tekken, you have a data cap.
Yep.
RPG, do you have one?
That's a good question. I have no idea. So probably not.
Well then. Yeah, I was quite excited about the Stadia stuff to begin with, and so seeing that bundle, I was like, well, I was waiting for a Chromecast Ultra, so each of those things is $70 by themselves, total is $140, and then 3 months of Stadia Pro is like another $30, so yeah, $130 seems like a pretty decent price, and then it's going to come out in November, so I get to try it in November. I don't have data caps. I have like 300 megabits per second up down speed, so I am ready for Stadia. Stadia, like they said, for a 4K stream, you only need 35 megabits per second. So I'm way above that. I think I'll be fine. And then, like, the surprise was later at the Ubisoft conference. I guess they announced Uplay Plus, which is their EA access for PC. So I think theirs is $15 a month. You get access to their Ubisoft's PC catalog of games. And then they announced that it would be available through Stadia.
Right now! Except that Stadia doesn't exist, so it's fine.
I gotta tell you, like, these two things, I started thinking, wow, am I gonna buy a PS5?
Yes.
Because Stadia is more powerful. I mean, yes, obviously, but, like, will I feel
Yes,
compelled?
Tropical. The answer to all these questions
I mean,
is yes,
okay,
before you even
yeah,
ask them.
but, like,
you know better.
Like, if I was a normal person, would I buy a PS5?
Yes.
Because I started thinking, like, Stadia is, very powerful server-based machines. They're in the cloud, but I do have, like, really good internet here.
Yes, but everybody doesn't have really good internet, Tropical, so they would be forced to be peasants and get the consoles that they have available to them because their internet sucks, and that their companies still use data caps to keep them in check.
Well, I guess a few things would still have to happen. Like crossplay would have to become a thing on every platform.
Hmm.
Because yeah, like I started thinking, it's like, well, you know,
Yeah, because that was also
Destiny
on
on
the Destiny 2 New Light or whatever the F. It's like they said that on that one, it's going to be only Stadia users with each other on the crossplay. So it's like
wait, did
you're
they say there's crossplay? Because I heard there was only cross
or not crossplay. I'm
saves.
sorry, like those users will only be able to play with like Stadia users and not Steam or PC users.
Right.
So they're kind
But
of
like
small
it's
small player base.
yeah, so that's the thing though. Like on the one hand, there's going to be a small user base of Destiny players on Stadia, probably because
Still
it's
confused on
old
how this
and
works though, because it's like there's no actual console, so it's like how. Oh wait, but is that what that Chromecast Ultra thing is?
yeah, it's basically like if I didn't have a PS5 or sorry, a PS4 and I share played your PS4 every day
Rude.
to play games.
Hmm.
um it's like that except it's not a PS4. It's like a Stadia server,
It's
which
gonna be
is
a
not
weird
just
thing.
one thing. Like apparently part of Stadia is that they can take one of these Stadia servers and just sort of tie it into a whole bunch of them, depending on how much processing power you need. So they haven't shown any games that take advantage of something like that, but theoretically, there could be some really cool stuff there.
Hmm. Yes, theoretically.
Yeah, but at this point, it really is sort of like, especially with the introduction of UPlay Plus, I could play 30 frames per second, whatever, Ghost Recon Breakpoint on my PS4, or I could just play it on Stadia. I wasn't playing Ghost Recon with, random strangers online anyway. So why wouldn't I want to play like the highest fidelity version that I had access to rather than my weaker console version?
Hmm. Yes, indeed. Indeed.
But yeah, it did get me thinking. I was like, oh no, is this actually better than if I buy a console?
I guess in theory, yes.
So for me, it's I started thinking like, wow, like stuff has to happen. Like, it would be really cool if there were crossplay for everything then, because then I could play this highest fidelity version and then also still be able to play with the same group. But then I thought, like, well, then from Sony's point of view, then they wouldn't want to do that for the same reason that they don't want to do it now, because their thinking is like, well, if everyone's going to buy Stadia games, then they don't need us anymore. So we should keep our player population, walled off. That is our strength. We have the big player population. So yeah, you can go play with the 10 people who have Stadia, or you can play with the 40 million people who have PS4s.
Hmm. Depends on how nice those 10 people are.
Possibly true. Yeah. So that is my that stood out to me early on.
There's also the Baldur's Gate 3 thing, but then it was like followed by developer talking with like people at
Mm,
workstations typing at things, and it's like, oh, nothing to show here. Huh.
yeah.
Like what
Yeah, I
EA
guess like
used to do. Ugh.
I guess there really wasn't too much to be excited about for the Stadia Connect. There's only one exclusive game, which was Guilt. It was that sort of spooky looking game, but cartoony spooky looking game.
Is it a Muv Love?
What?
No.
Well, that's disappointing.
Everything else, I think, is going to be on other platforms. Don't know. I guess we will see. So, what sort of games like? I know Cyberpunk, obviously. Final Fantasy VII RPG. Does that one look cool to you?
I mean, from a battle system standpoint, yeah. I mean, but it's still Final Fantasy VII at the end of the day, so probably not going to get it immediately. I'm going to wait until like the complete version is out and then I'll pick it up, but I'm not in any
Waiting a
hurry to.
long time for that one. See,
It's fine.
I was like confused, and now I'm like even more worried after like what they said of like, well, the first part is actually just like Midgar, but then also the first part, I'm just like, wait, what? Because it's like two Blu-rays, but it's like, I'm so confused because it's like, okay, so
Well, they said what they're releasing is enough to fill up. It's like the content they're releasing for the first part is essentially enough content for the same amount of time as like a normal Final Fantasy game. However, said part is only going to cover the first section of Midgar, but because they haven't figured out or they haven't decided how many episodes they're going to actually do, which is very concerning because it's like, well, that could mean a lot of things, and then given your track record,
see,
that's not
like, yeah, it's like that's where I'm like, okay,
so.
so do you get outside the city like the first disc, Midgar, or are you just like not even to Shinra HQ, Midgar? That's two different things. I'm just saying.
Because they said that you basically be able to explore. It's basically like more expanded story for the Midgar stuff, so you get to see
And
everything.
then I'm like worried if that's like every like town. It's like is the next part calm, and then like Nibelheim, Junin, Cosmo Canyon, the Gold Saucer. It's like, dude, like
But
there's a
that
lot of
Gold Saucer is going to be
locations.
its own.
There's a lot
So
of
Yes,
like,
it's a golden saucer.
it's,
all of the games, all of
they
them.
add even more mini games. Yeah, it's like ugh,
Like everything.
I don't know how I feel about this, and then I'm just like, this is on the one hand, and then like I was also kind of like worried because after I saw the gameplay, I was like, I mean, I've seen it before, but then I'm just like, I feel sad and I miss ATP, but then after hearing people's reactions to it and their impressions, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not as worried because
Well, it
everybody's
is
like,
still
sounds pretty fun.
technically ATB. It just added the action element to kind of like keep you doing stuff while you wait for your
Modernized.
ATB to go. Yeah, so it is still ATB based, but they kind of mixed and matched it so you don't just have to hang around and wait kind of thing. So that's happening.
It's weird though, because
I
it's like on the very edge of an action RPG. Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, why are you moving around though? It's just I don't know. It's like the part with the boss and you have to like hide from the tail laser to get behind the cover, and I'm like, but then I'm just like, I haven't played it yet. Everybody says it's good. I'll just hope it's as good as people say it is. Cautiously optimistic. Please be excited.
It's not. It's Final Fantasy VII. Spoiler alert: Aerith dies.
Wow. Way to be an a-hole RPG.
I know. I'm the worst. I regret nothing.
I think there's reason to be hopeful though. Like they've actually released some of these games by now. So maybe whatever was jamming up the works there is they
All the other
resolved
stuff
it.
that's true, because all the other stuff is already released at this point. So
Yeah.
they
like-
basically can only focus on 7.
It really was. Maybe the PS3 trying to get stuff to work on that was just too much. And so
Yeah.
now that it's so much easier, it's like, oh, we can actually release Final Fantasy Versus 13, but it's going to be 15 now because we spent way too long. And then, so people won't complain that there's no Final Fantasy 15.
Stuff
And
got
then,
checked.
yeah, it's like Kingdom Hearts 3 is like, yeah, it's impossible to work on this machine. Oh, now we're on PS4. Oh, we're using Unreal.
It's
and then it just
fine.
like got super fast.
Yeah. So it's maybe they were kind of working out the kinks and everything. And I mean, they
Yeah.
did have like a bunch of stuff at their showcase including ports and new games. So
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe they kind of figured it out now. I mean, mind you, there's a new console
Yeah, I was about
generation
to
coming now,
say,
so they're a
I'm
little
kind
late
of
to the
worried
party,
that
but it's fine.
like they're gonna
It's
just like
fine.
turn
It's all
around and
fine.
remaster a bunch of these and be like PS5 version. Haha. Didn't think we'd milk this Square Enix. We milk it all.
Well, I mean, I mean, a lot of it is probably is going to get ported, but I mean, because like Final Fantasy VII, I'm guessing is definitely going to be like a PS5 like cross
Eventually,
buy
Yeah.
title thing.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm
so
already like, dude, I don't know if I want to get the PS4 version because I already know it's coming to PS5, but it's like I want to play when it comes out, so it's like, but it's like whatever. So I've been waiting this long, might as well just get it, whatever. Just I'm complaining again.
so yeah, but yeah, I mean. Like I said, I'm not in any hurry to get it because it's Final Fantasy VII, but I'll be. I mean, I'll get it eventually, so it's fine. But yeah.
that was really exciting that FF8 is finally coming out on modern systems.
I mean, it only took them 6,000 years, but it's cool.
Yeah. And at first I thought, oh, it's just like it looks how you remember it. And then I actually looked at how it used to look, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Oh, yeah.
they improved it a lot.
It's like they basically had to redo this because yeah, did not look like that.
'Cause I remember very specifically, there's that part when you're in the hallway of like the training area near the beginning, and I think it's like right before you go in to like fight the T-Rex. And there's like that scene where she's sort of teaching you the draw system or like junctioning or something like that. And I remember like Squall's hair, and it was just like
Oh yeah, how
blocks,
how
how
blocked
blocky
it is.
it
Yeah,
was.
it's just- yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, they cleaned all of that up. It is insane. So I guess it looks better than I remembered. Super cool.
Maybe it only seemed like it looked like how you remember because you expected it to have looked like that when you played it back then. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, it in fact did not look like this at all.
I mean, I know that when you remember them, they look in your mind. It's like they look better than they actually did.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's like I remember it looked like that, right? And it's like, oh man.
It's like it did not. It did not. People were doing like comparison screenshots too, and I was just like, "Oh, holy crap!
I
Yeah."
was like, wow.
Now that I think about it, you're right. It did look like this. It did.
Oh my gosh. So one of my favorite comments about Avengers was because the Avengers MCU is like so ingrained in our minds and like how everything looks and stuff, like
Oh yeah.
Marvel's Avengers the game will only ever look like, you know, a low budget knockoff or
everybody-
porn parody of
That's a lot of
Avengers.
people were complaining about that, and I was just like, it's only because everybody's only seen the movies now at this point. So it's just like,
Yeah, that's their only point of reference.
yeah. So I'm like, why don't they look like them? It's
I
like,
mean,
well,
that
I
being
mean,
said, I'm a bit nervous about that game after all of the expansions adding on
Yeah.
to the game after the game comes
Yeah.
out. It's like I've been down this road, and it seems a bit Destiny-y. Just saying.
So this is a thing, and Jim Sterling did a video about this also. But a thing I noticed was like there was the Keanu part where a guy yelled out, "You're breathtaking," and he said, "You're breathtaking, you're all breathtaking," and it was just sort of like there was like a moment with the audience where there was like a dialogue, and it was like that was kind of cool. But then it felt like there was just a lot of people yelling throughout all the conferences, like especially like the Avengers part. I remember because like
Hawkeye.
yeah, it was just like really stupid. It just felt really stupid. I was like, you guys just stop interrupting them. They don't have much to say, and you're dragging it out.
But this
All they're
was
saying
the
is like,
worst, 'cause,
we're
there was
revealing
someone
the
that
characters.
that kept oohing, and it was just like, dude.
Yeah.
I was watching the replay, and I was like, you know, for a while it wasn't that bad, but like after you get to Elder Scrolls Online, this guy just doesn't stop, and he just keeps doing
Oh.
it, and it was the worst. It was terrible.
It was, yeah. Because this was like they came out as like, oh, we're introducing the Avengers. Like, who doesn't know who those symbols represent? Anybody at this point?
I
And
don't
it was
know
just
where
like,
they were.
And the people just kept cheering and like yelling out things. And it's like, you're dragging out this. Like, they already have no content. This was going to be very short. And yet, it's getting dragged out because you guys keep yelling and, like.
It's because you guys won't shut the hell up!
It was very annoying. Yeah, apparently, well, people are speculating that Avengers is a Destiny games as service.
Dun 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 dun
Yeah, it was
dun.
weird too, because like they said there's no loot boxes or something, but then later it came out like, aren't there microtransactions?
Mm. What did they say? They said, I think it's like paid DLC. So
Yeah,
like
the way they
content.
worded it, it was like, huh, okay, we're safe. But then later on Twitter, I'm just like, oh, Avengers games have microtransactions. I was like, no, you are the chosen one. I've been waiting for so long for this game, and it just, yeah, man, just it killed me. It killed me. I've been waiting so long for that game to be unveiled, and it was like a regret unveil now. I just wanted to go back. It's like, yeah, undo button, just a giant undo button of like, whatever, dude, whatever, just.
It could have been so cool. Like that press conference. Like Square Enix, they came out with Final Fantasy VII Remake and like went pretty in depth with it. Like the only part that I thought was weird was when the translator guy asked the directors like, "Oh, are we gonna get to see Tifa soon?"
Oh
and
yeah, and
he
he
said,
just
maybe soon. And then like we didn't see Tifa.
Yeah.
What? I mean, eventually we did.
I
and
mean, we
so
did, but
kept
yeah.
reminding the audience, and so they were more excited at that point. But it was just like, that's not usually how that goes. Usually, that guy throws you a softball, and then you give it, you
hit
it out of the park. And he was just like, I think I'll just, I'll take the walk. Just like, what just happened? But yeah, like they start with that. They had Avengers, which everyone was, anticipating, and somehow they blew it. Like it started really strong, and then by the end, it was just like,
I don't
wait,
think
they're
they
showing
blew
trailers
it.
for games that are already out.
I thought that was a good conference. It's just
I think they should have did this Final Fantasy VII stuff last though, because I
Yeah.
feel like
that was like too strong of an opening, so we had nowhere else to go but
yeah,
down. It was just like,
Maybe.
and the fact that they kind of like went so in depth with it, it seems like it would have been more fitting for the end, especially because everybody was already like waiting for it anyway. So kind of just like have that close out the show and then be like, yep, this is what you can expect. But then it's kind of like, nope. They started off with that, and then it's just like, let's show you other random things. But it's like, and then the Avengers thing happened, and it's like, well, you didn't really show us any things for the Avengers, so you could actually save that.
Their framing device for the conference was like actual
frames. Yeah.
that's
So
kinda
it
neat.
like ended on Avengers, and then they like lowered that big frame, and you thought, oh, one more thing, and then it was like the credits. It was like, wow.
That's the most important part of the show. The credits. Enjoy.
I think in the end though, like the game that impressed me, or the one that I was like most excited for afterwards, because like Cyberpunk, I think I was excited for before I saw the stuff here, and so it was like unchanged since it wasn't gameplay. No, the one that impressed me was Watchdog Legion.
Haha, Tropical. I was like, fool me once, shame on you, Ubisoft. Not happening again, ever.
Parkour grandmas!
Yeah.
I mean,
think that, man.
I feel like also like the reality that world is set in is like not really. I mean, it's not that it's not grounded or like not, comparative to our own. It's just like there's more going on there than like in the one that we're in. Because it's like I don't see a bunch of drones flying around. I can just like get on and like take for a ride over to some other part of the city and kill people. It's like that's not. Yeah, whatever, man. I mean, that being said, it's a cool concept, but we'll see.
Parkour grandmas.
I mean, that aside of the concept, it's still a Watch Dogs game and an open world game from Ubisoft. So it's probably got all of that window dressing too, of like part of the city that you go to open up the map of the rest of the city and all that stuff. So temper your expectations is all I'm gonna say.
Still, like apparently, like today I read something. Apparently, there's like 20 different scripts for the game because. And this sounds insane to me. Like, you can play any NPC in the game because you can recruit any of them to your team, which means that for the main story, like, they've decided to craft it in such a way that whoever you recruit becomes the main characters, and so they all have to have voice and different personalities and stuff, and like
I
all these
mean,
different things.
It's like Valkyria
From my
Chronicles, except
experience
as an
with
open world
GTA
game.
5 and the focus being shifted from 1 into 3, though, it kind of waters it down. I'm just saying when that happens.
Well, obviously,
been my
it's going to probably
experience.
be a fairly broad story in order to accommodate the fact that there's like 6 million protagonists now. But
I mean, if that's the case, that would be disappointing. But like the way they talked about it, and they were talking about essentially, I can't believe this is like working. That gives me hope that it's actually going to be
thought out and nice.
the way that you dreamed that it could be.
I have very little expectation that that's going to be the case, because it just seems like just going from like what you saw of the game, like that is the game of like you're building a resistance force and you're going to like bring peace and justice back to London. Oh.
And also have some tea.
But you can do it your way. Apparently, like you can play through a no kills playthrough.
Well, I mean, have you met me?
I
Because
think
that's not
I think
possible.
Watch Dogs 2 is like that too, though. So, just because it has a
I gotta
pacifism
play through that.
playthrough mode in a tropical doesn't mean it's going to be amazing. Okay, sorry to like rain on your parade.
And also, have you met me? That's not going to happen. People going to die.
And they kind
They
of,
always
I
die.
mean, even when they showed it at like the conference, though, they kind of like did touch on that. It's like you can have a bunch of hipsters, you can have a grandma squad, you can have the
Parkour
I
grandmas!
forgot the other two groups, honestly, because I kind of just
I actually didn't see this conference, so
What?
I just like went and watched the like trailer and then the gameplay stuff, and I was like, wow, this seems like it could be really cool.
Because I was watching when they were doing, because like because they like it does come up like the recruitable things for like the people you can recruit, almost like the whole Blitzball thing in Final Fantasy X, except bigger.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the like some of the character abilities was like one of them was like kid die randomly, and I was like, well, that's not going to be beneficial in any way, is it? Like,
it seems like they can
Why would you
all
want-
die though.
why
Like,
would
there's
you
a whole like permadeath thing or whatever.
Yeah, it's permadeath for every
yeah, but his
character.
actual characteristic was may die randomly, and I was like, well, so does that just mean like you're just going to be running around and all of a sudden he's just going to be just dead? Like, but how does that work? That's very concerning. Like, can't have my characters randomly die on me, especially since it's like permadeath in this game. So, and then it was 100% next to it. So I was like,
Yeah,
you're going
I forget what the trait was. It was something like normal, like he had poor health or something like that. So there was a chance that he would just like randomly die.
have a heart attack,
suddenly.
and it's like, oh, well, this is fine. We're in the middle of a mission. It's like I'm trying to hack the computer guy. Oh, whoop, nope, this is the big one. I'm dead. I'm dead, guys. This is it. I'm dead. I'm dead. So yeah, that would be kind of awkward because it's like, well, he died, guys, of not so mysterious causes. Because when we recruited him, we knew he had a heart condition. So I mean, this is kind of on us.
I thought that was really neat because, like, all the other Watchdog games, you could look up people's info like that just by looking at them in, I don't know, Watchdog Vision or whatever it was. And
Watchdog
now,
Vision.
I accept that. That's the official name.
and now there's like a reason to do it because you're trying to look for the best recruits and whatnot.
Glad the brand is so strong that we just know what that term is for the Watchdog Vision in Watch Dogs. That we just call it that.
In all fairness,
Assassin Vision, Batman Vision,
Watchdog Vision.
Tomb Raider Vision,
seems legit.
Lara Vision.
I don't think that's what that's called. But she had it though, didn't she?
Yes.
Laura Vision it is.
Yeah, I guess like that was the game that I didn't know about and then came away excited for. I don't know if I saw anything else like that.
The only one for me would have been Rainbow Six Quarantine, but it wasn't gameplay. It was just like the concept of it,
Yeah.
of like three people co-op versus like, ooh, what are we fighting? We don't know yet. So yeah, it's like, I keep asking for another Left 4 effing Dead, but I'm never gonna get another effing Left 4 Dead, so I just gotta take what I
You're
can
never
get.
gonna
So,
get it. You're never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it.
Shut up, RPG.
Never get it. Oh, wow.
Oh, and I guess I guess I haven't played Breath of the Wild 1 yet.
I haven't either. But after
But,
seeing the trailer, I was kind of.
I don't even
had my
have a
interest
Switch,
picked.
so
My hype went up
there's
like
that.
it was like on the cardiogram. It totally did like a on that when I saw that. I was like, but then I was the next day after the hype had died down, and I was like, yeah.
It's like, alright, I haven't even played the first one, so there.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really know anything about this or its world.
And I was like, remember, Tekken, Metroid Prime 4, just hold out, it'll be here eventually. We don't play Animal
Hold
Crossing, so
on
we can't be excited about that. But in
for
Metroid
one more
Prime
day.
4, they had to reset development. But it's a happening sometime in the future, hopefully, before we all die.
Astral Chains looked good,
It
and
did.
I'm already excited for Fire Emblem, so that was a pretty easy
Oh, yeah,
sell.
and No More
But
Heroes 3, that was cool.
and then we got a No More Heroes 3, which I was super excited about because like, oh my gosh! So it's cool. It's cool. No More Heroes, guys.
Yeah, I thought that was Bayonetta. 'Cause
Is
it was
there
all
a
dark and
4?
red. That was 3.
What? It's 3. Travis Strikes Back doesn't count.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
It's
Bayonetta
fine.
3 because it all started with like the black background and like the red mist, and I was like, oh, vampire witch lady, or not vampire witch
No, when I
witch lady.
when I first saw it, I thought it was like No More Heroes, but then when like the guy was in like a super suit, I was like, well, that's
Yeah,
not how
that was
game
weird.
goes. So I was
like,
confused.
what's going on here?
And it was, and I was like, okay, it's fine, guys, it really is. So I was on a roller coaster during that trailer. I was on a roller coaster. But it's all fine now. It's all fine. So I was excited about that. No Pikmin this year, though, guys. So
I know.
just putting that out there.
It's really weird, like watching the Nintendo conference, because like the range of like how much do I care about this IP from them, and just like at parts I'll just zone out and be like whatever, or just like that looks cool, but I won't play because I'm not a fan. But
Well, that's good.
It's
Well, that's what it was for me for like at the end. Well, at the end of it, when they were doing like the Animal Crossing stuff, I was like, I don't know why people like this series. Because I was,
yeah, it's like
I
a
was
reverse
just,
grind of
Yes.
like I'm going
I
to
want
pay
to
off
pay
my
my
debts.
mortgage.
It's not like
yeah, because I was
a
watching
bunch of
this, and I was
sweet
like,
stuff.
well, I already do this in real life. Why would I want to do this?
Yeah, it's like
this is not
I don't
fun.
get things to get cool stuff in the game. I just pay off the debts in game. What? No, thank you. You're doing it wrong, man. That's not how you grind. That is a reverse grind. Tekken wants none of that.
So I was like extra confused because I was just like, I don't see the appeal here. But I mean, whatever. At least people can be happy because they got what they wanted. So
Yeah,
there's
it's like,
that.
whatever floats your boat. Even if it's paying off debts when you already have debts. So yeah.
About to say, when you already have real life, you don't want to go into a video game and have real life.
I guess another one, because it happened so early, slipped my mind. It was Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
I was kind of mad on that.
Oh yeah, they
honestly.
did show that.
When I
Really?
saw it looks slow. I need to play it. I was like, looking at, like, watching someone play it versus playing it myself, I was like, this looks slow, but then it also looks like it's early in the game, so you're not, like, a bunch of cool powers and everything, so I was like, And,
Oh,
yeah.
they also mentioned that it's going to be like Metroid style ish, where you like unlock places after you get new abilities and stuff. So,
Yeah, I'm more
but they didn't focus on
I think I was
that.
already iffy on that, though, but I'm already, like, not buying it. I'm just like, someone else take that bullet for me, because I just, like...
Oh, really?
Since they also said it's canon, it's like I'm kind of down on the brand after Last Jedi, so you know what? I'm just like not going to let that ruin my experience with the series I love. When we had
I
Amy Hennig's effing game, man, that's also another thing is like I can't like associate that with that memory of like, it's like knowing that that game was in development and like, it would have been awesome, or in my opinion, it probably would have been awesome, but it's like, I know it would have been awesome, but like now I have this game we're gonna play as a Jedi because it's not like we have enough Jedi Knight games. I'm just saying, but
It looked cool though, and I mean, the idea of being able to, I guess, make your own Jedi, maybe. I
you
mean,
don't make your own. You are that character.
I know, but I meant like you can kind of like build his abilities how you want them. Because I mean, so if you want to run around shooting force lightning at people, you can shoot
You
force lightning at people.
probably don't
I
get
don't.
You're
force
definitely gonna get force lightning,
lightning
okay?
in that game.
No, what I heard about the combat system has been really excited because they essentially said that you would think that it was just going to be like the other Jedi games that we've had before, where there's like a quick attack and a strong attack button, and you're like playing God of War or something. But the combat is not like that. Apparently, it's a lot more like Dark Souls, where
Yeah.
it's much more like deliberate, and you're sort of because the way they wanted it to be was like Jedis use their combat for defense, right? And so instead of sort of doing combos, the Jedi character is mostly just sort of looking for that one opening to get in and like dispatch their enemies. And so when you're watching the gameplay, it's like,
People, when you say stuff like that,
hmm?
just want to point that
What?
out. So that makes them sound worse than like the bad guys when you say stuff like that. Like, oh,
Find
no.
the weakness of
that
the
kill
Jedi and
shot.
exploit them. Yes.
No,
None of this,
aren't
none
you
of
supposed
this
to be the good
wounding and
guys?
maiming.
Yeah, they're just like,
Kill.
no. I thought you guys told me they were the good guys.
Activate
Oh,
instant
no.
kill Jedi mode.
Yeah, just like the idea of this sort of deliberately paced, and you're not sort of, attack, 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 strong attack. Combat system sounds right to me, and it sounds like very cool for this universe.
I just want to shoot force lightning at people.
You should get Force Unleashed.
Yeah, I heard that game was garbage, so no, I'm good. And I want to do it on the current gen consoles. I'm too lazy to hook up my other consoles.
Oh yeah, I mean, if either you have like anything else to say about the Star Wars game, I'll wait. But I have something else to say about like Microsoft that we moved on from.
Nope. I'm on board.
I was just
Or
going to say.
Star
I was just going to say. I think that the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is a slam dunk. So, yeah, looking forward to that. If I ever get a. I mean, I have it. I have like the dollar thingy that they offered, but I haven't bothered trying to like figure it all out because I'm like, well, actually, at this point, I have too many games, so I probably shouldn't do that. But it was $1, so I was like, whatever. So yeah, so free games.
That's still going on because it expires in a month,
it-
doesn't it?
It's a month, or the offer or the thingy, the dollar thing.
Like the thingy. Like you pay $1,
I
and
think
then
it's a
it's a
month.
month.
It's a month. So
Yeah.
it's still going on.
You gotta get on that now, then.
You have to try it and then report back, but yeah. I just wanted it for the $, just to like see how many games are in there, since I haven't bothered looking at it. It's a lot. It's like it's a bit essentially like how I used to say about Plus is like the
Yep.
like the new Sega channel for poor people. It's basically that. Just like pay $15 a month and all those games. And you just gotta get the console and you're good.
I'm kind of worried though, like what this
'Cause-
means for.
Because the thing that's even better about the Ultimate Edition is like that the live comes with it, so you don't have to pay like every
Yeah.
year. Which is
But
why
yeah,
I
I'm
didn't like-
I'm kind of worried about what it means for the types of games that will exist. Because you gotta think like, okay, if all these games are on subscription services, there was a reason that PlayStation Now doesn't have all of the games because those people can make more selling the games than having them on this like rental subscription thing. It costs what, $10 a month, $15 a month? How much money can you make off of one person with a $15 subscription?
I have a feeling I have no idea, but I feel like the reasons that they like went so in on this is like because it's like more of a Netflix model type of thing, where it just like
Mm,
works as a model, versus like
yeah,
it's like an alternative like if you don't want to pay like $60 per game for like whatever's coming out that year,
yeah.
like the
I mean, it makes
It's a
sense.
supplement. It's not going to be a replacement.
It makes sense because, you know, I think we're like hitting the peak. People don't have any more time. We used to be able to play all these games, and now we have these games that are just like, oh no, you're supposed to play this forever. Destiny is your life.
oh man, Tropical. I had like this weird thought about that of like a Portal analogy of like, you know, you're not stuck in a room solving puzzles. You're just like stuck playing the one game, and like we'll never let you play another game. It's like, oh, you're gonna be in this facility at Aperture forever. It's like games and service games want you to be there. Like they want to be your forever game. It's like you can't play anything else, Tekken.
Yeah.
We're your forever game. You play this every day. Every day you wake up, and we've rearranged the room like it's a puzzle, like in Portal, and you can play it all over again and again and again until you die forever. And then, if we're evil, we'll like sprinkle in some like, hey, you want this microtransaction? You want this sweet skin? You want the sweet shirt on your character? You want these sweet shoes or whatever the F we're selling in this whatever effing game, like whatever the F we're peddling. It's like, oh, you want these microtransactions? Because then if we take a bit off the top of every game of all the other people in the rooms across the world that are trapped in their rooms in their game, we'll make billions. It'll be great. Money, dear boy, money. And I was like, how did I get this way? Why am I thinking like this?
But yeah, like that, your internal dialogue all the time must be like, I mean, remember there was a time when we were trying to force ourselves to be like one game a month? Now you're just like, well, I could get this new game that seems pretty cool, but I have Destiny, so I don't really need anything else. And it's just like, how do you compete with that? You like, how do you compete with the person chained in the
I mean,
room
that's not.
already? It's like, how do you get them to
Oh,
come to
dear.
your room? It's like, well, you can't.
I am the guy in the
You
corner.
could bring the ring to the.
You're a guy
I
in the
forcefully
always the
been
guy in
turned
the
to the guy in the
corner.
corner. Someone get me out of here.
the origin story. But so I think like subscription schemes, and that's probably like too negative a word for it, but like subscription stuff, I think that's why it exists now, because like it's either subscription and getting subscription money, or it's zero money, because that person is only paying money to that one game now. And I feel like in generations past, we could actually talk about, it's like, oh, this is the time in my life for games, and then I have another amount of time for like movies and stuff, and I have another amount of time for other things. And now it feels like we're reaching the peak where your one thing, like just games, is all of your time. There is no time for anything else. And so yeah, like everything is competing to get not the remainder of your free time. They're trying to get you to give them attention that you currently have entirely focused on just the one thing. Just Destiny.
That is like partially true, but I also feel like after my whole experience with this whole Destiny era, I will call it, because what a ride. I've been able to find balance where it's like, I may spend a ridiculous amount of time playing just the one thing, but like I will find the time for like the one thing that comes out whenever it comes out if I'm looking forward to it. So it's like I will always like slot in the time to like play whatever the like one big game of like whenever it's out to like play it. So that's.
Like, I can't
But
remember
it is
how
weird
you.
because like even though that's true, it does feel like I am kind of just like revolving around the sun that is the game that I'm currently sucking all the time out of my life. That's the game as a service game, but I gotta get off of it because it's terrible. Like I gotta kick it. PS5 comes out, I'm like no more games as service games, unless it's like a Mass Effect series or something. But I mean that's the thing is like in my brain I'm like, oh, I'm never doing this again. But then I'm like, what if it was like a sweet franchise I was like really into? It's like, well, I guess I'll try it once, and then I'll probably get hooked and be like, yeah, chained in a room again, playing the one game. Yep. Because I haven't even that's what I always think about my Switch is like there's all these games on the Switch. I haven't played my Switch at all, and it's like ah ah. When will I find time for my Switch? I will never find time for the Switch. It's so sad.
Like, I think in the past we would have been done with all the
It's like I don't even need
like
more than one
MCU.
console because I just need the one game on the one console. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, related to that, I'm worried like what kinds of games is this going to cause? Because like the iPhone and whatnot, because of the way the market worked and everything, it sort of promoted a certain type of game, the free game, the game that you could make really cheap. And then it was like, well, we gotta make money, so free game plus in-app purchases, and then microtransaction land was born. And if subscriptions becomes a thing where it's like, oh, we pay you per amount of time that people play your game, then they're going to make really padded out games. It's like, oh, it's compelling enough that you want to play it, but then it's super padded out because we need you to play for
I mean,
15, 20 hours.
I haven't played enough games. I've only read reviews and impressions of like that seems to be what's happening though. With like if you look at Shadow of War, and what's another game that did that? There's like it seems like that is kind of a trend though of like these big open empty open world games, but there's like some weird like underlying scheme of microtransactioning in them of like how can we get more out of the player? How can we suck even more out of them? Yes.
Unlimited power.
And then like with like so many other games like Fallout 76 and like Anthem when they come out and it's like ooh didn't quite hit the mark. It's like every new one must be like a 90-day period of like is this gonna fail or like is it gonna be a Diablo 3 again or like a a Diablo 3 situation or an Anthem situation or a there's been so many where it's Fallout 76 situation where it's like oh well this game is broken but they just kicked it out the door and turned on all the microtransactions to try to recoup the cost of it whatever. And, maybe if they can stick to their air quote release window or whatever. Oh, that was a weird thing when, like, Fallout got effing Battle Royale, dude. That's like, I did not see that coming. That's what I think. That's the other weird thing. It's like, I don't think Fallout people are, like, just like 76, like, nobody wanted, like, the co-op thing. It's like, I don't think any of these people wanted Battle Royale, but it's like, whatever, dude. They're just doing whatever. It's free, so whatever. Super weird. Oh, off the cool. Like, what we said totally happened. Like, the whole, like what else could you do with like Battle Royale? Like that one game, I can't remember the name. There's like two ones, well, there's not two, but there's like that one. But then today I saw an article about there's like a Mario Brothers Battle Royale mod or something. I kind of want to try that out because that just seems crazy to me to see like 100 Marios running across the screen.
Oh, what was that one? It's like the obstacle course
Yeah,
one,
it's
right?
like
The Devolver.
Yeah, they look
Fall.
like they look like the little people from the Blob game, but they're not.
It's like Fall something. Something Fall.
I want to play that too. It looks fun. That actually looks fun to me. I was like, oh, that's like a crazy obstacle course game. I could win that.
Yeah.
It's like Tetris, Fortnite, maybe, but just not worth the effort. And that just looks like a fun time of like who's gonna make it through these ridiculous courses and 100 people at the same time. What's the worst that could happen? And then chaos ensues. And it's like, haha, that was funny. So I'm definitely looking forward to the future of the crazy Battle Royale. Yes.
100-player games.
Yes. The Centurions.
It's only because they're getting you prepared for the real battle royales. Because once we go Hunger Games style, it's gonna be your lives now, guys.
We must prepare for the darkest timeline now.
We warned
What's
ourselves.
gonna be really crazy? At some point, we're gonna draw the battle royale genre, like whatever it ends up being called. Like the line is gonna be drawn back to that game show that they had on Xbox Live on the 360. Yeah, because that's what that was essentially. It was sort of the magic of connecting 100 players. I think that's what's going to be remembered as that's going to be like the through line of the genre. So right now it's a lot of battle royale because it's like that's what you think of. You think of Hunger Games, you think of battle royale, But
Well, I mean,
eventually,
in all
like,
fairness, it's named after a battle royale, so yes, that is
but
one
then
that you think of.
eventually it's going to get to this point where it's like, well, it's like puzzle games or like this obstacle course thing or, you know, anything. Like I can think of any number of things that would be interesting if it was 100 people playing against each other. So yeah, it's in the end, I think the through line is going to be that connecting of a massive number of players together,
It's
all
kind of
playing
it's kind of
competitively.
it's kind of interesting if you think about it because it's kind of like the micro version of an MMO because it's not like
Yeah,
thousands of people on a server. It's like because you never get like thousands of people like in an instance of like doing like one thing. They're just like in the world. So it's like it's kind of cool to like have like a micro version of that like shrunk down of like 100 people in a game actually like doing
yeah.
something all at the same time. That's pretty cool. Which is kind of weird. Like you would think, why would the MMOs not think about that? I guess they just thought about bigger and bigger. You know, didn't think smaller.
Yep.
So kind of
They only
interesting.
design
Bigger is better,
raid
technically
layers
bigger
for
is
like
better.
8 or whatever.
A raid battle royale. All of the players, all of them. MOBA battle royale. Boy, that would be chaotic.
That would be insane. Um. Yeah. So, did you make your list this year, Tekken?
I did. Let me find it. It's not
Oh.
very long though, because like I
Yeah,
said,
there was not
2020.
there was not a lot of stuff. We did get a lot of release dates, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yes.
But just
everything's in
not
September, so enjoy.
not having PlayStation there really was, and it was really funny because like when you're watching it, you think, oh man, PlayStation is gonna really be behind because of all this stuff that's on other systems, and then you look at PlayStation's YouTube channel and they've just like uploaded all the trailers for everything.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
great.
oh, I guess everything will be on PlayStation.
Okay. Oh, well, before I continue, I just want to say also, Fantasy Star Online 2, effing yes. Effing let's effing go. Like I saw that and I was
mean-
like, this will free me from Destiny. I will be free. Free.
I mean, it's only been 20,000 years, but yes, they are finally bringing it west, so yay. Thanks,
In the year
Obama.
2019, it's only been 20,000 years RPG. Yes, because that's how time works.
Thanks, Obama.
Okay.
Oh.
So got some man, this is not in order at all. Hold on. I think Control comes out first because I think that's August.
Or September, probably, because everything.
Oh
Because
man,
of
that's the
course.
other thing. That's the oh my gosh. Before we continue, that's the other thing, dude. Like I don't know if it was last year or the year before, like when like, you know, all the games are like stacked on top of each other like the same day and like nobody moves. It's like, no, I'm gonna hold my ground. I'm not delaying my game. We're not delaying our game because we will make all our money. Oh, this quarter we're gonna beat our earnings for this quarter. And then it's like nobody backs down and like all the games come out. It's like second Christmas, third Christmas, fourth Christmas. It's like we can only have so many Christmases, guys. Publishers. So it's like, you know, September when you got or is it like I think it's like September because it's September, October, whatever. It's like you have like Monster Hunter, Borderlands, Destiny. It's like what the F, man. It's like all the same time, and then like March, effing like so many games, and then like Cyberpunk's in April. So it's like, why would you do this to me? Why would you put your games in April or March when the next month Cyberpunk's coming out? It's like whatever. Just it's fine. It's fine. You're not gonna be. I mean, whatever. It's whatever. It's whatever. I have no job. I have plenty of time, so I'm not worried about it. Like now, I'm not worried about it. Before I would be, but now I'm just like whatever, dude. I got the time. Tekken's cool. Anyway, moving on to my games of this year. Not as many as usual because, yeah, like I said, not a lot of people did the thing of, you know, and it's out this year. But like I said, Control, and then I think Astral Chain sometime in the summer as well. I don't know the thingy.
I think it's like July 20 something, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's soon, basically.
I mean, that's not on my list, but then after I did my list, I was like, well, Astral Chain really does look cool, and it's platinum, and I haven't played my Switch. It'll give me an excuse. I mean, I
Oh
already
yeah,
have
that's.
games on that I have an excuse for, but it's like,
Oh no, it's coming out August 30th, so basically September.
dang it,
Enjoy.
see? It's like that. And then you have effing Iceborne, which isn't that September 2 RPG?
That's September 6th.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh. And then Borderlands 3, which is I believe also it's
Also
like yeah,
September.
it's like 2 weeks, a week or two after, and I was like, dude, why does Monster Hunter and Borderlands like right up against each other, like just grinding up against each other, just like yeah, taking you want to grind for XP, grind like us. Sorry, I had to make that joke. It's just like
Baby, grind on me.
it's like why? It's like it's nice to have a game a week, but it's like
Oh, but those aren't the only ones.
And
Those
then-
aren't the only ones.
And then lastly, Death Stranding, and that is my 2019 lineup.
Which is also, I think, what?
I think it's
Oh no, that's November actually.
Yeah, it's like that's the only
That's
one
the
that's
only
like
one
spaced
that's
out.
like away.
It's
Yeah.
like, it's basically like trying to like majora mask myself into getting everything done by then, and then like the moon doesn't explode and I can enjoy it. And I still have no idea what it is after that sweet trailer we got with like all the things in it. Finally, of like whoa.
It's a community strand game. Duh.
I like
This
that
guy.
that part where like Kojima said that he's like, well, I didn't call Metal Gear Solid a stealth game. It was a tactical espionage action game, and this is a social strand sequence SSS all the S words. And I was like,
I was like, sir, are you smoking again?
sir, this
Is
the
it drugs?
Wendy's."
Is that what you're doing? Because those are bad for you.
And
Those
then-
are bad for you,
So,
Kojima.
so now I'm very interested to see what we'll be calling it, because they won't be calling it a social strand game because we don't call Metal Gear Solid a technical espionage action game. So
I'm gonna call it a social strain game. No, suck it. I'm gonna call it. It's a new genre now.
And then 2020, I've got Cyberpunk and FF7 remake. So I mean, I already pre-ordered Cyberpunk, so I had to because I was like, And they showed the statue that came with it, and I mean, I didn't get the statue version. That was like just the GOG. They had like this thing where like if you got the Cyberpunk pre-order, you also got like all their other games on GOG. So it's like that was pretty
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, and then, so it yet reminded me again. I have not played through Witcher 1, 2, or 3. So
Oh yeah, I have
It's
the
like I
longest
started
playtime on
Witcher
Witcher
1
3 right now, guys.
a long time ago.
Suck it, podcast.
Wait, what RPG?
I have the longest Witcher playthrough of all of us.
I mean, I started the first game.
That
I
makes
just,
me an expert
I got to
on
the
it.
first. I got to the first town, and then I just didn't go back to it. So
Well, I left the first town already. So yeah. Yeah.
oh well, I'm gonna go back to it over the summer, and then see my goal for the summer. My new goal for the summer, because I've got so many, is like Witcher trilogy, and then there was something else in there I forgot. Oh yeah, completely revisit the Borderlands timeline in order to be completely ready for that. So my two things: Witcher, Borderlands.
Do
Which
you
is
have
my
any
summer
questions
plans.
about The Witcher? I'm the expert. At least out of the three of us. So.
And then whenever Phantasy Star Online 2 comes out, because it'll be free. That'd be great. Or is it free to
It
play?
is free to play, so yeah. So that's gonna be cool because I don't have to buy it. Just download it. Complain about the fact that it came out 6,000 years after the fact, but it's cool. It's cool. It's cool, guys.
See, for me, it's like
Not-
cool because like I played like a side game on the PSP or Vita and I really liked it, but then I never played like any of like the actual games of like Phantasy Star 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, I played them, but like not all the way through when like the collections came out on like the Genesis blah 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 classics blah blah blah. But then like when Phantasy Star Online came out like on the Dreamcast, like people were just like revered it like it was some sort of like mythical amazing game, and like I never got to experience that, so I'm looking forward to
Well, it's kinda
checking it
like-
out the second time.
It kind of has that draw of Monster Hunter, except not as complicated. Because I mean,
I think
played.
there's also like a GameCube version that came out that my cousins played like really into, but I never got to play it. And I was like, man, I always miss out on Fantasy Star. But this
I played
time,
one
things
that
will
was
be
like
different.
imported because Dagger accidentally bought like multiple copies, and then she couldn't even get into hers because it's Japanese, and you have to set up an account in Japanese. But I was able to get lucky, and I got mine set up, so I played it briefly, and I was like, "This is hilarious because I can play and you can't." So that was fun. That was fun. Enjoy.
I mean, I'll probably at this point also pick up Shadowfall because I kind of have to finish. I feel obligated to finish this journey I'm on, and it just like PS5, I'll be free, no baggage, no Destiny. I'm done. But you know, until then, I got to help Erishmorn out on the moon with some things. Unfinished business. I got to see what's up with like all these bosses that
And
we
she's
still
still
coming
creepy.
back. Oh yeah, it was really cool in the trailer. She's like making some gun, and I'm like, I want that gun. It's got all these like feathers and amulets and weird stuff on it. I'm like, that gun's gonna be in the game. Oh yeah.
Sounds about right.
And I've heard like they're adding stuff like finishing moves, and I'm like, how's this work? But it looks cool, so we'll see. And just be fine that like, you know, it's just this game I'm trapped in the room right now playing. It's fine. Like I'll get out eventually. You know.
You won't. Said the narrator. You won't.
Still alive for now. Still alive for now. Yeah. But those are my games of this year and next year. I mean, there's probably more games next year. I just didn't write them all down, just like the main ones. Because man, over the moon for Cyberpunk, dude. Like after that gameplay last year, it's like, dude, nothing else can touch it. And then like I want to see this year, it's just to be like, yep, nothing can still touch it. Everybody needs to catch up. That's all I'm gonna say. So, man, PAX cannot get here soon enough. And that's the other thing. That's the other. I'm sorry. I keep like, but like, I remember last year, and people were like just gushing over this game of just like it was like a religious experience or something. And then like to hear their impressions again of like it just being as good, if not better, and just like just because it's like. I mean, I haven't played The Witcher like extensively, besides like the bit I played in the first game. But Deus Ex Human Revolution, Deus Ex the original one, and Deus Ex Mankind Divided, my jam. So it's like to take like an open world RPG like The Witcher, and then like also a Cyberpunk open world RPG like the Deus Ex, and then like have them have like amazing baby producing magic of like, and like better than like, and then like be better than both parents in like all regards is like, I cannot wait. The chosen one has arrived, and I cannot wait to play it. Does anybody else have a game list, or am I the only one?
Well, it depends. Are we talking about based on E3 or in general? Because I mean, I have a butt ton of stuff that's coming out for me, but it's not because of E3. I mean, I got some of the release dates for these games during E3, but it went, I don't think most of them were shown at E3.
I think,
or they were on they were on the floor, but they weren't like in conferences.
I think we're talking about based on E3.
Then no, you're good. Because like I said, most of the ones I got release dates for were on the floor. They didn't like show them during conferences, so I don't know if that counts or not. So.
Oh, also with the Fire Emblem thing, are like all those games like in the same universe, but like not in the same time, or just like is it like Final Fantasy where it's like the same, or
It's
like
complicated.
the same name, but like not related at all? Because like
It's,
I
it's,
would
com-
like
it's complicated.
I wish they would just like, you know, do something where like you could catch up if you're like not even
It's complicated.
in the dance with that series, because like, you know, I
It's
bought the
complicated.
GameCube one with like the Beast People, but I never played through it. I played through like the tutorial and like some other stuff, like never got through it because, you know, other things came up. But
It's complicated.
I like strategy RPGs, and it's just, you know, one that's I never got to have a good time with. And
It's
the
complicated.
3 thingies RPG said looks really good this year. 3 houses. That.
But no, you can. I mean, they're all technically standalone. I think there's only like one where it's like 2 of the games cross from different stories, but then it's complicated. But you should be able to play it by it. You're able to play any of them by themselves, just fine. They all have self-contained stories.
Ew. I see.
So yeah. It should
Also,
be
it was
fine.
funny because there was that Contra game that Konami showed that was like the 3D Neo Contra or whatever that was called on PS2, which is like nobody wants it. And then like today on like PlayStation, they put a trailer out for like a game that looks like like a like legit like side scroller shooter thing. But it's like, I was like, see, I wanted to like tweet it out and be like, this is what people wanted from a Contra game, Konami, not the 3D garbage that you put out that looks terrible. Ugh. It looks
So
bad,
very
dude.
nice.
Like graphically, it looks like a PS2 Wii game. It's like, okay, let's not say PS2. It looks like a Wii game. It's just like texturally, the textures are just like, oh, it looks bad. What happened? How is this on Xbox One? Who did this to you? It's like, is this like some Stockholm syndrome of like the developers trying to like send us a message of like, get us out of here?
Or like,
We don't want to end up like Kojima. Someone do something. I mean, I guess we did get like the Konami collections though, but I hear, you know, things about them. Also, like the country collection, where it's like a bunch of the same game, but like the same game. So it's just like the different version or title, like Japanese version of this game. So it's like not really a different game. Hmm.
Oh, well, I don't have a list because obviously everything I saw was cool, and I
He
want to try
wants
all of them.
everything. He
Yes.
wants everything.
I've only actually pre-ordered Stadia,
What?
and that's it.
Well, I just haven't had time to go pre-order anything yet. That's why. But someone's going to be very happy once I get there because so many things. So
Oh, and I
many.
guess Death Stranding too. So two things.
So many.
I'm also looking at the release date for that because man, I was like, Sony's not showing anything else for the year. Days Gone already came out. It's gonna be a long 2019. But now it's like, oh man, do we know if they're doing PSX this year, or was that just last year that they skipped it?
I heard
think
they
it was
weren't
this year.
doing
It
it
was
this year
skipping
either.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, the kit. Okay, I'm kind of upset at that because it's like they said
I think
They're-
it's
They're
State
trying
of
to build
Play.
suspense.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
they're
right, it
gonna
is
build State of Play.
Man, I'm kind of. I mean, for me, they're over 2 on those just because it's like my expectations for like. I mean, I guess that's the thing is like now that my expectations have been tempered on State of Play, it's like the next time they'll probably like underdeliver, or not underdeliver, but like overdeliver, and I'll be like, okay, that's good, and like not as like expecting megatons every time like I am. So like because it's like, oh, it's gonna just be like as good as 33s, right? No, it's not. It's just gonna be their equivalent of a Nintendo Direct. Ugh, man, what a bummer. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that. It's like I don't know. There's like this whole article on Gamma Sutra about like the state of E3 and how like the attendance is down and like everybody's like, well, not everybody, but there is a like portion of people that are like doom and glooming over it since Sony wasn't there and Microsoft's not actually like physically booth space in the conference. They're like somewhere close by. So it's like, we'll see. So it's like, it's going to be really weird if like this happens next year with like new hardware coming out of like the two of the platform holders like not even like physically being in the expo hall. If like you're showing your hardware, that would be weird.
Well,
I mean, sure, the third parties could be like, oh, we've got this running on next gen consoles. You can check it out here. Which I imagine like next year's gonna have like a lot of attendance just because of that. Like I kind of want to go just to like. I mean, but then again, I don't because like too many people. So it's like actually I don't. That's like, whatever. One of those weird things in my brain of like, I'd like to do that. No, you don't, Tegan. You don't. Ah, man. Guess we'll see next year. Next year's gonna be awesome. That is the cool thing though. Is like after the whole Scarlet with 2 T's. It's like, oh yeah,
LOLs.
the battle has begun anew. So hopefully by next spring we'll have some sweet unveilings and then E3 hype up the wazoo. Cannot wait.
get our Super Switch and then our PS5s and our Scarlets. It's gonna be all stuff, all of the things. All of the things.
Cool. Is there anything else we want to add on E3?
Isn't Bethesda always also doing something like the Uplay Plus thing? Like,
That I
Um,
don't know of.
I
I
can't
mean, I
remember
didn't
if
see most of theirs either. I just remember they announced like an Orion thing,
that.
right?
Yes.
No, Orion is technology that makes streaming work better.
Oh, never mind then. But yeah, dude, it's just I don't know. It's like too many walled gardens are popping up. It's like we were talking about this before the podcast, but it's like Netflix used to be the be all end all of like I would just want to go to the thing, stream the thing, watch the thing. That ain't the way anymore. It's like Hulu Plus, Disney Plus soon, effing HBO Now, effing like this CBS thing with like Star Trek, that thing. It's like I can't watch that. I can't just Netflix, type it up. No, 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 no. It's like nope. And in some cases, it's like the people that had the rights to the things are like, oh, we're gonna take that and put it in ours now because we can, because we're making our own thing. F you, Netflix. We want to cut. Everybody wants to cut. That's the thing. That's to bring up the whole Jim Sterling thing. It's like all the companies want all the money of like all the time. It's like it's
That's
like
true.
they're not gonna leave
That
anything.
Fortnite money.
Yep, they all want that Fortnite money. So it's just like everybody wants that Fortnite money, so they're not going to leave anything to like not be a asset in their toolbox that they sell things, whatever. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I have PS Now. I barely use it. I mean, I probably don't need it. Honestly, that's the way I'm starting to think. Is like, do I even need these? And just like cancel all my subscriptions and like save money that way. But
Yeah, I'm starting to think all these subscriptions are like, it used to be you bought games and then you had a backlog, but there's not really a penalty for having a backlog. It's just like, well, it's there. Someday I'll play it. With subscriptions, it's like now you have to pay for your backlog. It's like, oh, if you get the subscription and you don't play everything or anything, then you have essentially, like, we're fining you $10 a month for not playing anything.
Basically.
yep.
So that's going to be interesting for me. I hope that changes me for the better.
It won't.
Terrible. RPG, anything else on E3?
Nope. I'm just excited for the fall.
It's pretty exciting 8-9 months ahead.
Oh, also,
Well-
it's like super weird for like the whole Call of Duty thing to like be our focus is single player. It was weird, dude. Like for a split second, I was back in. I was like, I'm getting this day one. I'm hyped. I'm pumped. Captain Press, let's effing go. And then like it like melted away. It was so weird. I was like, Tekken. Times have
You
changed,
have Destiny.
dude. it's like we're a different person now. We don't do that anymore. And then it's like, single player, dude, you already know you'll be done in like a day. Like, $60 for a day? That's why we stopped playing in the first place. What's wrong with you? And I was like, you're right, voice in my head. That is why I got off the Call of Duty train. It's all these like hyper spectacle, ridiculous Uber explosion. I mean, it's gonna like they wanted to be like more intimate and you're creeping around shooting people, but it's like, dude, it's the same thing. Dudes with guns, pew pew pew. That's all they do. That's like it's like yeah, just like the Gears thing. It's like all these years later, and they're still doing all the same crap. It's like I've changed, okay? I've grown as a person. It's about story and narrative and characters. We don't do that anymore, Tekken. What would Telltale think? What would Telltale think if they saw you now?
Rolling around in its grave.
Oh.
Don't be that person, Tekken. Don't go back. Don't go back to the dark side. I can't follow you down this path and you're hurting my feelings. And I was like, you're right. You're right. I don't need this in my life anymore. It's gonna be the same thing. I'm gonna be done in like 3 hours, 5 hours max, and be thinking to myself, why did I do this to myself? That story wasn't even that good. Whatever. Multiplayer, I don't want to be called those names anymore. That's why I don't play those games anymore. Ugh. I'm glad we had this talk voice in my head. I know. Ah,
Oh dear.
Call of Duty. Ugh.
He's gone insane.
That was a close one. It sure was voice in my head. Whew. If they only knew the other things. If they only knew. See how Tropical you were saying?
See, this
Yeah,
is
I hope we have more.
institutionalized.
I hope we have more of those talks with the voice inside your head in the next episodes. If you want to hear more of that too, check us out at
Tropical's weird,
aimlesspodcast.com.
guys. He's weird.
aimlesspodcast.com, where you can download the episodes. You can also download them off of various different services like Google Podcasts and also iTunes while it still exists. And then you can follow us on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch to get those things also and listen along live.
And you too can be confused as to how we're still sane. Because we're not. Because we're not. That's how.
It's really funny. We started the show talking about how like Destiny would bring together all the loose threads at some point, and it'd be like, oh, now the story is so cool, and like tie everything together. And somehow we tied together Destiny and the origin of Guy in the Corner in sort of like one of those time loop movies. Awesome.
A stable time loop? That's how this all happened?
Oh, I was going to say something I forgot earlier in the podcast, but I was looking through the lore and I finally found like where they do like reference Murder Battery, and I share button in. I was going to tweet it out, but I forgot to, so I'll do that. I'm like, Murder Battery. They said it. It's in there. So yeah, it's a whole thing.
Cool.
Well, that could be healthy.
Anything before we say, or anything to say before we sign off, RPG?
Exploding kitten bananas.
Anything to say before we sign off, Tropical?
Nope. Oh, John Wick Hex looks really cool. I want that one.
All right.
Is it because Keanu Reeves is in it?
Yeah, until you hear from us again. Hope you had a good E3. Can't wait for next year. And
Are we Reavers now?
we're now signing off.
Oh, I finally saw